Scott Williams is in there as well. Hello. And we've also got Ollie from Canada. How you doing, Ollie? You all right, mate? Elbows up.
I'm good. I'm good.
Elbows up.
East Coast of Canada, yep.
You guys have come out fighting, haven't you?
Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying, you know.
Well, that's good. I think everyone's on your side, to be honest with you, in this whole...
It definitely feels like a David versus Goliath type of thing, but yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, well... America's going to be feeling the pinch of it, but I've seen some vox pops of people being interviewed, and they're like, "Yeah, I think this is great," and you're like, "Oh my god!" It's like the bit in Zoolander when they've got the petrol and they're throwing the petrol everywhere.
Oh my god!
And they're laughing about it, going,
"Ah!" You're fucking right.
Throwing the petrol around, and then it's like, "Oh, let's light a cigarette," and you're like, "No!" It's that's the vox pops from America that I've seen. Just want to say before we get on, hello to everyone in the chat, especially Wayne, who's in the chat but not here tonight, unfortunately. But we've also got Anne Phillips in the chat. We've got Roger Devine, impersonator, Russell Cannon. We've also got Richard Grumpy Git and Scott, different Scott, and also Diz as well. If you'd like to join all our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit that lovely subscribe button and wait for a minute, and then you can join. But don't be a troll, or we will mute you and boot you. So, Scott, how you doing, mate? You seem to be eating a lolly ice or an ice lolly, depending on which part of the UK you're in. A Magnum. Chalk ice on a stick. When I was a kid, they weren't classy.
Chalk ice.
But now they are for some reason.
Yeah. I just need to say to Ollie that said it was David and Goliath. David did win. So it's all good.
Yes.
Well,
he did.
That was the fictional story of David and Goliath. Yeah, I guess David did win.
He slingshotted that mofo.
Ooh.
But yeah,
I mean, he brought a weapon like a cheater.
But it's kind of like, it's painful because we all know here on the show, like probably everyone watching this, we all knew what was going to happen when Trump put these tariffs on everything. But he's been saying he's going to do this since the election. Yeah. And he's called it Liberation Day. It's not liberation from money.
To be fair, this is nothing like what he said he was going to do. His ChatGPT, whatever formula he had, is all of the Republicans are like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, this idiot just taxed penguins. Like, he, like the Emperor No Clothes moment is the
Emperor Penguin with no clothes.
Yes.
Jesus. Well, the FTSE 100 here in the UK is down nearly 5%, which is the worst since COVID. 6.1 trillion wiped off global markets estimated. NASDAQ. So they have this adjustment. Is it adjustment? 10% down, and then more than that, it's bear territory. So we're in bear country now in the NASDAQ, and Apple has lost $300 billion in value. That is in one company. One company could lose that much money. It is just.
I've heard. I saw something somewhere saying that Tesla has lost 50% of its value.
Yeah, it's really been hit hard, Tesla.
I don't know if it's 50% yet, but it's getting close. They went from like 128 points down to like 96 points on the NASDAQ or whatever it is. So it was like 40%. So
yeah, happy about that. There you go. Upside.
Oh dear. couldn't have happened to a nice little company.
Yeah,
I think this is all calculated. They think that they've accounted for this, right?
That's the thing. Like, they were accounting for him to double the current tariffs, which would have been like 2 to 4%. No, this dumb comes up with like 30 and 40%. That's why everything's absolutely insane. Like, he's literally crazy.
He's
literally crazy.
Box of frogs.
The head of LinkedIn this afternoon, who's not a crazy billionaire like the others, he said that there are two things he's doing. One, obviously, a lot of his mates are betting against the markets and making loads of money. That's stage one. Then stage two, and his son was tweeting it out, and the LinkedIn guy said what he'll then do is then go, right, I've done all this, now you come and negotiate with me, and it will all be on my terms, and it'll all be very gangster. You give me this and pay this bit in my Swiss account.
He thinks he's the Godfather.
Yeah, he does.
They're all going to come in, kiss the ring, and then he can dictate terms.
Yeah.
this is all based around this idiotic idea of devaluing the dollar. They want to devalue the dollar. And the last time this was done in 1985, and what happened was there was an agreement in the Plaza Hotel, so it was called the Plaza Accord, and it was an agreement between the US, the EU, and, well, what the EC as it was then, and Japan. And it worked for the US. It did devalue the dollar, which made imports not as attractive and exports from America more attractive for people buying them because the dollar was less strong. However, it did have a knock-on effect on Japan and led to the lost decade in the 90s. And honestly, Japan's economy hasn't really been doing great since the 90s. It just it was on fire, and then it got to like 1990 and then just flatlined. A bit like the British economy after 2007. But he's trying to recreate this, but there's some things that are different, fundamentally different this time round. He's got no allies, and his biggest trading partner at the time was Japan and the EU, and now his biggest trading partner is China. Yeah. And they're not going to sit around and negotiate. You know, they're just going to say, fuck you. You put tariffs on us, we'll put tariffs on you, 34%, see you later.
Yep.
So it's just Russia then. Russia and Belarus is all he's got.
Yeah. Russia, that has a GDP per capita around that of Grenada.
Is potato.
Yeah, is potato.
Is potato. So, yeah, Belarus and Russia, that's his two now trading partners. So
don't forget about Iran. Oh, wait, no, we're going to bomb them. Never mind.
Yeah, they're going to bomb them.
So Apple's prices may rise by over 40% for their products.
And I just want to say this is all horribly mistimed. I mean, the Nintendo Switch 2 is about to come out any day now. And now it's going to be like
not in America.
$1 billion.
Yeah, we're getting
not in America.
We'll be right.
I'm going to sit here playing on my Switch 2 while you Americans
me too. I'm going to go out. I didn't want one, but I'm going to buy one because Americans can't. Yeah, that's it.
Now you'll know what it's like being British in the 80s when a movie will come out in America and we'll have to wait like a year for it to come out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or watch
see
it on
the date on Internet Movie Database, and you'd be like, Batman didn't come out in 1989. It didn't come out in 1980. Yes, it didn't in the UK. No. We had to wait months and months and months for it.
Or watch it on a green sort of a dodgy VHS from your local market, and it would be sort of wavy and green.
Yes,
how I watched ET.
The original camcorder.
Yeah, right.
Just
because the copy protection, wasn't it?
Because you're just a bunch of thieves, you know.
Oh, I did pay for it eventually, but it's just I saw it because we didn't get it for another year.
Well, I think that we should just go all become pirates of the high sea. No, not pirates. Pirates. Okay, that's a bad word. Privateers. We will be sanctioned by the king to commit piracy act, but only against American flag carriers.
That was on something
Netflix.
That was on today. Something I saw that they said that because of Trump, piracy is going to come back. There will be sneaking all sorts of things into each other's countries. It will be well resourced.
Well, that's smuggling more than piracy, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. We could put some. Yeah, we could do a bit of both, couldn't we?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. The technological piracy.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well, you know those international laws that we stand by over copyright. Yeah, so there's been some Trumpers this week going on and saying, "What's international law? Why do we have to abide by international law? Nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. International law. Who keeps the international law?" And I'm like, okay,
that's right.
Copyright. Fine. We'll just make our own Mickey Mouse cartoons. See how you like that? We'll make our own MCU. We'll call it the MC. Fuck you.
If you guys tried to do Mickey Mouse, it would be so depressing. Like, it would be raining every day. It's like, well, it's accurate, and Mickey lives in the real. Like, you guys would spoil it. You don't have.
He will be addicted to ketamine.
You don't have the pure hope of a child left in your country. You know what I mean? Like, you're not happy enough.
He thinks we would recreate Danger Mouse. That's what he thinks. Right?
It'd be all Wallace and Gromity. You know,
at least Mike Young.
He would get hurt all the time. He's like, "Oh, he stubbed his toe." That's what you get, Mickey.
Our Acme incorporated devices would work, though. I'll tell you.
Yes.
They'd work.
Yep.
Just take forever to get to him.
The Roadrunner would go, me, bang, dead. End of first episode.
See, this is what I'm saying. You guys can't have fun. You're too serious. You just like, 2 episodes for that Roadrunner. That's all it needed. Now more time for Mickey's
Yeah,
stub
we have to
toe
take him out at
adventures.
some point.
Mikey, I have my own theory on this. I think we're paid by the American movie studios to never make a fun film ever. Because if we
We just
do,
encourage
then
the
they
bad
might
ones.
lose the market edge. Do you know what I mean?
You guys don't have the jolly in you. You know, like you're
No,
just
no, it's just
generally-
films.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like in the arts, it's just generally like, well, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? And it's always like you have to overcome some minor annoyance or some like obviously
true.
bad. Like,
Well,
there's
yeah,
never
that's
just
the
like
most.
So
a.
much of our art is written by posh people, starring posh people, about
Yeah.
posh people having trouble with their posh lives.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
can't get,
You know,
just can't
they're
get to
very-
that level of neuropathy of just believing in yourself. You
There
know,
are
just
some-
never can
yeah.
quite get there.
There's some very jolly things that Britain have
Big
come
words.
up with. You know, Mr. Blobby was jolly.
Yeah.
That was
don't know who that
fucked
is.
up.
Like that's why Boris
Was-
worked, right? Because he's like happy for no fucking reason. Like he has
He
no
literally
business,
was
no
the
business being
politics
happy
version of
about.
Mr. Blobby.
He has no,
Yeah, but the
he had
Brits-
no reason to be happy about anything that he was doing, but he would walk around with a big stupid smile on his face,
don't-
and that is what. Yeah, and British people can't be
You
in that
don't-
state. They're too real. It doesn't work on
don't
them.
understand the culture, Mikey. We like it a bit crappy in the UK.
Yeah,
That's
We don't
literally
want-
what I said.
Well done. Well, we don't want to be.
It's more
entertaining
realistic.
We don't want it. We want somebody flogging us a panda cola out the back of a caravan with a dodgy burger with the fries falling on the ground. We don't want all the perfect. We want it a bit shitty. If you
Yeah.
did it well, we'd all be complaining.
America,
I.e. Red Dwarf.
America has to put a sheen on everything, and Brits don't really do that. They like it a little bit.
How did
grittier.
Barbie play over there?
Once again, i.e. Red Dwarf, because it went to America and they fucked it up.
Yeah, that happens too.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
They're fighting in it for some reason.
They
Hey,
fucked up.
Gunny's just dropped a super chat in. First super chat of the evening. Thank you so much, Gunny, who wanted to say Danger Mouse is fucking awesome.
I loved Danger Mouse. It's like one of my favorite things in the whole wide world.
It's
I
absolutely
loved
brilliant.
it.
Have you seen the new version? Have you seen the new
No,
one?
why would I watch that?
No.
Why would I
Okay.
destroy my memories?
There it is.
I think it's Alexander Armstrong doing the voice.
Oh, no.
no.
Was it, did he
Not
have his
David Jason
cravat
anymore.
on? Did he have his cravat on?
Yeah, and I think Stephen Fry does the voice of
Penfold?
of Colonel Kane.
Oh dear.
Ah.
No kissy business,
okay.
DM. Ivan, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Oh, on a roll.
Can
Has
we-
anyone heard about the latest reform candidate who is no longer a candidate as of today? Can
Russell
anyone guess
Brand?
what he did?
Is it
Oh, was it
Russell
Andrew
Brand?
Oh, he
Jenkins.
like he.
No, other
Something
people,
about
not
something
Russell
about
Brand.
Jimmy Savile. He admires Jimmy Savile.
Yes. He's another one of the ilk who supports Jimmy Savile.
He-
A dead pedo. A dead pedo who fucked the dead.
yeah.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened? Jimmy Savile
Refuck.
joined Reform.
No. There's
he's
someone
dead.
who's running for reform who
Yeah.
supports Jimmy. He made the video saying, "Oh, Jimmy Savile, let him off." You know,
Oh, he didn't last long then.
he only raped terminally ill children. I mean, was he a bad man? I don't know. I can't tell anymore. Up is down, left is right, black is
Yeah.
purple. I don't know.
Talking of the BBC covering up that kind of stuff, Russell Brand has been.
Oh,
charged.
Yes.
yeah.
It's been done for rape.
Yeah.
And P Diddy has had an extra
Yep.
a load of charges put on him for
Yep.
being a massive
Good.
rapist.
Good days. Good times.
Lovely.
But at the same time, this week there was a guy. Where was this, in the Netherlands? Who was let off after being found guilty of raping a woman. He was not given a custodial sentence, and in fact, his record was expunged because he was training to be a doctor. Can you guess what type of doctor he was training to be?
Gynecologist.
Foot doctor.
Gynecologist, yeah, gynecologist.
Podiatrist.
But what does, like, was she on
And the
exam
judge said,
table?
"Oh well, you got a promising career ahead of you."
Oh,
That's ugly. That's ugly.
So fucked up.
That is.
So fucked up.
I think I'm gonna
Uh,
go live underground.
Yes,
Uh,
The
like a
mole
womble.
people.
With the
Womble.
Womble.
Do you know the Wombles, Mikey?
What the hell is the Wombles?
You don't know what a Womble
The
is?
Wombles are a group of little mouse rodent type things that live on Wimbledon Common, and they
They live
clear away
overground,
the litter.
underground, and they womble free. The Wimbles of Wimbledon are wandering free.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Uncle Bulgaria, he reads the Times every day. And then there's
Yeah.
Orinoco, not
Toba
named
Mori.
after the Enya
So-
song, but I think the
so-
Enya song was named after him.
So Ali, this is what I mean. Like sometimes they like only talk about the thing instead of explaining what they were supposed to be explaining. That has
It sounded like Fraggles,
literally
Mikey.
fucking nothing. Is it a show?
Yeah,
Is it a book? Is it just an old wives' tale? You haven't described.
It was a
with-
show
with
and a book
noun
and a pop
what
group in the
it is.
1970s.
So it's
Now
Fraggle
you're
Rock.
involved.
It's and the film. It's all those things that you just said.
Golly.
It's Fraggle Rock, Mikey. That's all it is. They're Fraggles.
Is it a dream? Is it a mineral? Like, can you describe? Does it? Is it heavy? Like,
It was Fraggle Rock.
Or were they guys in suits? I can never remember.
What?
Were they guys in suits, or were they? Or were
Yes, they were in
yeah,
giant
guys-
suits singing
guys in suits.
"Remember You're a Womble" on top of the
Yeah.
pops.
Bernard Cribbins did the voices.
Wow.
It was a kids'
So-
show, Mikey. It was a kids' show. In the
Psychedelic. It's like all
the
the
1970s.
everything
animation.
in the 70s was based on taking a
Stop
lot
motion.
of LSD.
Stop motion animation.
I
They're rated
love
by
that.
Ray Brooks, apparently. Ray Brooks.
Yeah. The
They're
everything,
litter picking hedgehogs. That's
yeah,
what
they
are,
were.
according to
Okay.
Pete Den.
Everything on the 70 on the television in the 70s was LSD, Vision On, Pipkins, you know, all that kind of, all Art Attack, all that sort of stuff in the 70s was all kind of very, you know, I mean, Vision On, go and look at the stuff in Vision On, you'll think, what were you taking when they came up with that?
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty.
I don't think that, you know, because I've met people when they're really off their tits on drugs, and the idea that they could come up with a really good pop song or they could write a really good TV show.
Well, the
Wayne,
Beatles wrote a lot of good
Wayne.
stuff. When
Hey,
they were on
Wayne! A wild
Pink
Wayne
Floyd.
has appeared. Hello,
Why are you
Wayne.
here?
I'm sorry, I just heard some people casting dispersions on British TV shows, i.e.
here we go.
Mikey.
Here we
He
go.
wasn't casting aspersions.
Here we go.
What
He's just asking
dispersions?
for a little bit more of an explanation, actually. Wayne.
Well,
No, I think he was
the-
talking about
the
when I
Wom-
said
the
that you guys
Womble-
were
the
refused to be
Wombles were
happy.
Bobby
the
Big Balls
Wombles
turns
were
up.
the Wombles were a double threat. They were men in suits and they were also stop motion.
Okay.
Sounds terrifying.
So it was a stop motion cartoon of men in suits,
Yeah.
or was it two different shows? One with
Yes.
men in suits and one was a cartoon.
No, so you
The second
like,
one?
so if you take Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, which
See.
is one of their cast members,
See, he's not going to answer. He's just
but
going to
the
start
actual
describing
show was
something
not.
else.
This
Is what drives me insane.
exactly.
They don't know how
was
to answer directly.
Choose A or B.
And
which
he
is-
said, "Let me tell you a story about G."
let me tell you about Epsilon Squared.
Yeah. Which
I'm gonna
one
forget
is
what
it?
my question was, Wayne. Fuck.
Was
Come on
it?
now.
Was
He
it
wasn't even paying
people?
attention to what the question was. He's like, he wanted to just say what he wants to say. He doesn't want to listen to what anybody else is saying.
I'll find the answer for us.
By the way, Wayne, I know you can't see because you could just see me on the channel here. But if you're watching it on the computer or whatever, you'll see I've made little name tags for everyone, right? To come up when they come on. And so Scott's one has like Scott Williams and it says TGA 1976. Mikey's one says Mikey Famine and it says the Bin Network. I've made one for you special and it says Wayne Lynch, Tory.
Huh?
Again, Graham, distance is your best defense right now.
I love that.
You absolute
That's
weapon.
so good.
So it looks like
I'm looking now.
so Ollie, it looks like there's
anyway.
a mix of the stop go animation, and then they'd have like a jamboree where they all pretend to play instruments.
Oh no, Wayne's
like,
gone. I
some-
was only joking, Wayne. Come back.
He was like,
I'm still here.
he's like,
All right, okay.
guys
Your
have gone
picture's gone. I thought I'd really upset you. It was just a joke.
It's
I'm
a-
still here, bro.
It's a
So-
hippie show.
so-
I'm
it's
not.
it-
Hang on, I didn't
It
shut
was a
that
stop
down.
go animation that sometimes was live with people in suits playing instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
TV show was just live, was stop motion animation, and then people dressed up to go on the TV to play instruments and
Okay.
pretend to be this band called the Wombles,
Okay.
who
Strange.
sang,
Okay.
"If you
No.
minaretto allegretto, you will live to be old," or something. I don't know.
And I've got to say, by the way, as someone
What?
who's frequented Wimbledon Common, they do
Have you?
the
Bet
Wombles
you
of
have,
Wimbledon
dirty
Common do a
bastard.
good job because it's
What are you
always
doing on
double
Wimbledon
clean.
Common? What are you doing
It's
there?
double clean.
What
are you
time
doing?
on the common?
What are you doing on the Common?
Hello, hello, hello.
Just driving through
bastards.
doing my jobs, mate.
Doing your job. What's your job?
Domestic energy assessor, planet saver.
What are you doing in a park? What are you doing in a park where you do? Are you assessing the park for energy usage? It's a park. It's got trees in it.
Is he a fresh air tester? Is that what he's saying? What?
No, I think
He was getting dick.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right, hang on a minute. So Scott's the one that goes
I'm
there
working.
first.
I don't cruise parks. They just come to my house.
Wow.
Is that the code? Is that the code? You go into the toilets there and you look to someone and you go, "You working?" And they go, "Yeah."
You ask.
I don't think. Now you're working.
I had a lovely conversation once with
this. Would you
stop? We're talking about you. We're not talking about me.
No, we are talking
It's a
about
classic deflection that you do. What happens is when someone starts taking the piss out of you, you deflect it to somebody else.
Ooh.
Like, oh, well, when Scott does this, no. We're talking about Wayne and Wayne's dick sucking habits, not mine.
All right, let's have a fair trial. Wayne, defend your dick sucking.
Watching this. Calm down, everyone.
Your mother watches this.
Yeah, see, I'm not getting us demonetized now. It's not me.
Well, you were going to do it at some point.
I think that ship has flown. Darren Christian, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Jamie and the Magic Torch went on a trip every show.
That was great. That was a very LSD. Jamie and the Magic Torch. Jamie and Wordsworth.
Wasn't the Magic Roundabout?
So Mikey, Jamie and the Magic Torch was about little boy who had a flashlight. I mean, he had a flashlight. He had a flashlight. And it was a magic. It was a magic flashlight, and he used to go under his covers with his flashlight, not his flashlight, his flashlight.
I have one.
Go on adventures with it.
I have one.
I thought Wayne was about to grab one then, but it was a drink.
I actually have one. I have one. I have a flashlight.
We don't need to see it.
I got it for my birthday one year.
Oh wow! Were they trying to?
Scott,
were they trying to cure you?
Really
Scott,
I'm not gonna get it out.
Were they trying to cure you? Were they trying to get you back on solids?
What?
I know it's the other way around, isn't it? Hang on.
It was.
For shame! For shame!
Pranay's entered the chat. Hey, Pranay, how you doing, mate?
Hi.
Yeah. Hello, Pranay. Hey. Pranay's one of our friends from the Movement Forward. Oh, it's good to see you, mate.
Hey.
Have you been on this before?
No, I haven't. So I just logged in to see what is going on. So
big hello to Pranay. You know you're going out live?
No.
On YouTube.
Pranay, you could not have picked a better point to jump in on this conversation.
Oh man!
Really?
Have you been watching the show?
The whole of the internet that I have a flashlight. It's a butthole one. It's not like the mouth or the vagina.
Oh man!
Oh, brilliant!
Well, okay.
Friday's like,
Sorry,
what the
everyone.
fuck have I walked into here?
Know.
Don't worry, it's only going out on the internet. No one's watching.
Is that a real brick wall, or is it like Graham's
Unquiet Badger in the chat saying, so much for politics.
That's what I'm saying.
About fucking wombles and bum sex. Like, what the...
Well, politics is so bloody scary at the moment. It's
talking about this.
Deflecting. This is just deflection.
We gotta
talk about anything but
self-entertainment.
So Scott's telling us about him prowling around on Wimbledon Common with his flashlight at night.
I don't need. Why would I? No. Why would I have the two things at once? That's
I don't know.
If I'm gonna go get the real thing, I'm not bringing the toy. What's the point in that?
Scott prowling around Wimbledon Common with his flashlight, trying to chase me down, doing my energy assessment.
Listen. We were talking about Wayne, not me. We're talking about Wayne's habits. I've never even been to Wimbledon Common. I don't even know what it looks like. I've never even been there.
You know what someone needs to do at some point? Someone needs to get like a big black dildo, right, and go and use it, like pretend it's the microphone and go and try and interview Nigel Farage and see if he notices when you're doing talking to the mic. Because he won't look at the mic if he's looking at you.
Graham, why's it got to be a black dildo?
Because it looked more like a microphone.
Didn't Penis Menace?
It could be purple if you want.
Channel 4 guy, didn't he used to do that?
Calm down, Wayne.
Did he? Did he use a dildo?
I think he did on one of his.
Yeah, I think he did too. I think that's been done before.
Dennis Pennis.
Oh, he was very funny.
Yeah.
I like Dennis Pennis. He said to Steve Martin, "Why aren't you funny anymore?" And it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah. He upset Tom Cruise as well, didn't he?
Yes,
He
he
upset
did.
a lot of
Everyone.
people.
He sprayed water.
I don't think that's hard to do.
Tom Cruise took it really, really seriously.
Yeah,
He
he took it
didn't-
badly,
he
yeah.
all the other
does.
celebs just sort of laughed and walked off because he'd asked some questions on the red carpet, wouldn't he?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
microphone was squirting water, and then
Oh,
he,
yes.
and it
Oh.
shot water.
Oh,
over
didn't
him.
John Travolta get upset with him for squirting water on him? He's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" Was it John Travolta? I don't know.
Probably.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Oliver says Wimbledon is well posh.
Mm.
There you
it
go.
really is.
No wonder Wayne was there prowling on the comment. What are you doing, Wayne? I'm doing an
On the
energy
hunt.
assessment. What? You're doing an energy assessment on a tree?
I actually went to see what's the name of that country musical?
Bulgaria. Uncle Bulgaria.
No.
Oklahoma.
Country musical.
What?
Waterloo
right.
by ABBA. No.
The country.
No, I went
Old
to it was,
Giella.
I forget the bloody name.
Give us a
It'll
clue.
come back to me, but no.
Is it the
was-
name of a country or is it country music?
No, country music.
I
It
think
was-
it was
Hate You Wagon.
No. I remember it. But I remember
Dolly
I
Parton.
was in the green room.
The Life of
I was in the
Peggy
green
Lee.
room, and I was there with Michelle
Before he
Collins, you know,
cheats?
Cindy from EastEnders.
You were with Michelle Pfeiffer and Cindy from EastEnders. That's a
No, Cindy Collins from not
Okay.
Cindy-
Michelle Collins.
Michelle Collins from
Yeah.
EastEnders. She played
Oh,
Cindy.
who played Cindy Beale?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica Biel.
Beale. Sorry. Beale.
Yeah,
Beale.
and she basically necked like 3 bottles of wine within an hour.
Good girl.
nice
I
one.
was like, calm down, love.
What's the point in sobriety at the moment when?
You were upset that she was
There's no point in
more of a
sobriety
partier
at the
than
moment.
you.
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah, I was,
we're in
I
the
was pretty
darkest
much like saying
timeline.
something for the rest of us, love.
Yeah, right,
So-
exactly.
Okay. So I've got. I'm sorry. I don't want to pick on Mikey, but we do need to talk about these tariffs and how they're going to work in America. So,
They're not
from what I
going to.
understand,
Actual politics. Woohoo.
the idea is that they've put a
feel free to
massive.
pick on Mikey.
They've put a massive tariff on the EU so that America can make its own champagne. Is that
He
right?
doesn't know what. None of this is like. I can't even answer these questions because they're not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even a good question. This is stupid. It's just
Yes.
a
Yeah.
fucking moron doing moronic things. Like, the way he's even figured all of this doesn't make mathematical sense. Like,
It's
he
done by
wants to,
ChatGPT.
like, he's got 8% on Indonesia. Like, what are you talking about, you weird, dumb asshole? He has a nurse following him around because I think he got lost at the speech. Like, this is just baffling. Like, there is nothing that makes
This
sense
is-
about any of
But
this.
but Mikey, they could because you've got sparkling wine in California, haven't you? You could just relabel it and say it's champagne.
No, you
Right.
can't. You can't.
Yeah, but who's going to stop
That's
you?
a name brand. That's a name
International law
That's
doesn't
not
count
international
anymore.
law. Tucker Carlson
Yeah.
said there was no,
There's
Yeah,
no
I guess.
geographical indicators. There's
Who
no
are the
copyright.
international police?
Everyone's
Yeah,
a
but you
pirate.
gotta watch what you're doing. That like the companies are not gonna want to do it because this is not gonna last forever.
Okay,
Right.
but that's
So-
brought me to my next point, Ollie. Because you know what does last forever? Rachel, what are forever according to James Bond?
Diamonds.
Diamonds are
Diamonds, correct. And
Okay.
what's one of the biggest exporters of diamonds to America is Lesotho, the tiny,
Yes.
tiny, tiny mountain kingdom of Lesotho, one of the poorest, most impoverished countries on earth, a country in which 1 in 3 people are actually HIV positive. And Trump has put the highest tariffs of them all on Lesotho
Yeah.
because they want to make some homemade diamonds, I guess, in
Graham,
future.
Graham's teed it up. I'm just gonna knock it over the
Well-
line. Graham, have you been there?
What? Lesotho, yes. I went to the highest pub in Africa. On the
Sunny.
Sunny Pass, which was run
See,
by a
now-
Scouser, by the way. The Scousers, you climb up a bloody mountain in Lesotho, and you get to the top, and there's a pub at the top. It's an Irish pub, and it's run by a Scouser. They're everywhere.
I don't.
Ed
I-
Sheeran's
I
up
don't
there
see
waiting
it
on you.
that way. I don't. I
was
don't
the
see
Irish
it
pub
as him
next
wanting
door.
to produce homemade diamonds. Right now, the rich have a lot of diamonds already in the States in storage.
Oh,
He's
so they
just
don't want
going
any
to
more.
drive up. He's just going to drive up the price of what they already have,
Oh, they like that
so that
then,
they
don't
sell it for more.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Right?
No.
So
No.
for
that's
that
a plan.
thing,
He doesn't have a plan. He's just dumb. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like that, even your idea is smarter
that's
than
going to
what
be the end
he
result.
had.
Some rich billionaire that has a lot of diamonds said, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And he said, "Sure, why not?" All right, something like that.
No.
I want to know what I want to
plan.
know. I want to know what Pranay thinks.
Well, I think that he's just trying to bully his way around, but it's just like completely pointless, right? Because
It doesn't even
you like can
work.
only bully if like you have like something to gain out of it. But everyone's here and everyone's basically losing because prices are going up for everyone now. So
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Well-
like it's like a global economic catastrophe that is coming up. I mean,
Yeah.
the only
if there-
hope we have is that it like goes away in a week or two or a month. So that's the best we can hope for.
No, I don't think it is. I think
No?
if there is a plan,
Yeah.
I don't think Trump's behind the plan. He's
No.
got other people whispering in his ears.
Yeah.
All
He's
right,
got-
saying we need this because of whatever, and he's just going along with it.
Yeah, the Heritage
because it's
Foundation
making
are
it.
telling him what to do.
He thinks it's right.
Yeah,
But-
those geniuses.
What they're doing is they're trying to
Brain
bankrupt the farmers in the United States, so that rich people can just buy up all that land.
South Africans.
Ollie,
They're trying
I
to-
know you can't.
They're
you
trying
can't
to
speak, but
force people out of their homes so they can buy up all those apartments and stuff like that and just own everything, and then basically turn everybody into slaves that's
They do want to do
below a certain
Blimey.
income level.
wow.
Right, 'cause
Ollie, I
you'll
know
just-
you can't
you'll
speak for
need to.
all of Canada, but like anecdotally, like how is it being felt in like your sort of network of friends and stuff? Like how does Canada feel in your opinion about this?
The vast majority of us are angry, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Keeping our elbows up,
It's,
bud.
it's like your best friend and next door neighbor who you've been hanging out with, going to hockey games with, doing whatever with all this time, has now suddenly built a fucking 40-foot fence and it's got guns aimed at us.
Mm.
That's what it feels like.
It's like that one guy that you take to the pub all the time, but then like normally he gets a little carried away and you have to like get him in the car, and then he's like fist fighting you to get in the car. And we are fist fighting our friend that's trying to take care of us while we're drunk. Like we are swinging and like removing teeth. Like we are being complete assholes right now. It's
Yeah, because
really
it's
heartbreaking.
funny. It's funny because like the majority of like coverage that we get over here is about the southern border, but no one ever really talks about the Canadian border.
There's no
And
problems
like,
there.
I mean, like,
we've issued a travel warning for people trying to travel to the United States.
Really?
Because there's
Yeah.
been people getting hassled at the border.
There's someone who was locked up, wasn't there? There was a Canadian woman who was locked
Yeah,
up for 11
a
days
little
with no
over 2
food.
weeks. A little over 2 weeks she was locked up, yeah.
Yeah.
So
No way
just
am I
because
going
she-
to America.
No,
Yeah.
just because she had
no.
stuff on her phone about Trump, right?
Yeah.
So stuff is happening. I mean,
I had to say to my
if we're already in the States trying to get back out, it seems to be all right because my parents
Yeah.
were down there and came out. Didn't seem to have any problems. It's going the other way, going across. So, but hopefully it all calms down at some point in time. But when will it?
because the thing is that there's a lot more sort of border crossing points in the north, isn't there? Like because like Mikey, you've got like
It's an undefended
uh,
border.
Michigan just above you where they can. Is it Michigan above you?
No. Wisconsin.
What one's above you? Wisconsin. And then you've got like your Nova Scotias, you've got your Washington State and all that. So you've got multiple places where there are border crossings, but no one ever says anything about that. I wonder why that is.
They do though.
Trump has
Yeah.
started though. He's saying it's an artificial border, and he's been insulting Canada, calling
But
it the 51st state.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
there's a whole technocrat. They did it after they did it in the 1930s. The whole idea of a techno kingdom and the sort of Peter Thiel, sort of Elon Musky kind of grouping. I mean, they're following. I can't remember his name. He'll come to me. But they want in their
Yarvin.
plan. They need Canada, Mexico, and Greenland. They need Greenland for minerals. They want to go there, and the planet warms up and live there. And that's their sort of Gilead. Leonard Leo is the other one, the sort of nutty
He's a
religious
fucking
guy. They're all
shitbag.
connected, and they want those countries to form their new world and build their super, their super cities with us at the bottom, no middle and them at the top. That's their kind of vision for the techno world, and you buy everything and they run everything.
And there's no money, and it's all based on energy. Your energy measured
that's
in
right.
joules. It's a really fucked up
It reminds me of that Black
1930s
Mirror
Nazi ideal. Yes,
on the bikes.
Yes, it's very Black Mirror. And Elon Musk's maternal grandfather was the leader of this technocrat group in Canada.
Yeah,
who was actually put in. I think he was put in jail actually for being a bit too close to the Nazis.
Not all Canadians are great. I'll admit it. We got bad apples.
You're right till America starts sending troops into Greenland and all of the frozen Vikings wake up.
America's already got troops in Greenland. They got a base there.
It'll be the Nazi zombies up in the hills.
Exactly.
But like that thing about them saying that the Danes have been neglecting Greenland. Fuck off.
Oh, they have not.
Yeah. Have you been to American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, or the US Virgin Islands?
St. Martin. Yeah.
No, Graham, have you?
Yes.
St. Thomas, not very nice.
A bit fucking rich for them to be talking about neglect. Go and check out.
This is covered in concrete.
Yeah. But like and the US Virgin Islands, St. Thomas.
Yeah, it's covered in concrete.
Used to be Danish until 1917. So the Danes actually have a better claim over that than America does over Greenland.
Yeah.
The Danes were over in Greenland about over 1,000 years ago.
So a lot of things.
What is our claim over the Falklands then? Because it's a bazillion miles away.
Well, because there's a group of people living on there who want to be British. That's our claim on it, basically. If they didn't want to be British, then it would be a bit wrong for us to say, "Oh, we're keeping this."
No, but look how far away it is. We can't really sort of like have a bit of an ag with America when they want to take back Greenland. If it's closer to them than it's Denmark.
It's got nothing to do about. There's a bit of France that's on the other side of the planet. It's called French Polynesia. There's also Wallis Islands.
Yeah. We got a French island 100 miles off the coast of PEI.
Yeah, you've got Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
So Canada. Yeah, you have a French island, something. Yeah,
we've also got Gibraltar.
American Samoa is thousands of miles away from America proper. I mean, the freak states.
Falklands are far away.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the Falklands are far away from us as well.
Yeah. It doesn't make any difference. It all that matters is what the people who live there want.
Put the flag in first.
And do the people of Greenland want to be run by America? Fuck no.
Does that mean America own the moon?
What? Because all the people there want to be run by Americans? Well, the thing about Greenland is there were no humans there before the Danes turned up. So they've got a better claim over that than Americans have over America. There were already people in America.
Well,
we're keeping Scott awake. Sorry, Scott. Hello.
Yeah,
all right, mate. Should we
Listen,
start talking about cottaging again? Let's get Scott back in the convo.
I don't want to talk about cottaging. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about politics. I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just a bit,
I think it's awful. I mean, the Brits, we know how to run we had 1/3 of the globe. We know how to run an empire, but these villainous land grabbing Americans.
No, we don't know how to run an empire. That's the old problem. As soon as you have an empire, you're always going to fall on your sword.
No. You've got to have an evil empire. Then you're fine. But don't build any Death Stars. Otherwise,
at this point,
Alec,
just build the fucking Death Star.
Alec Barrett, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Alec, that's very kind of you. The Falklands are British because some whalers settled it in the 1800s. Well, the funny thing is, like, you've got the Falkland Islands, and anywhere you go in Argentina, they're always whinging about the bloody Falkland Islands. They call them Islas Malvinas. You see it all the time. They say that they're ours, right? You go to Venezuela, and you see maps everywhere claiming 2/3 of Guyana, which used to be British Honduras, because they're like, oh no, this isn't yours. This is that was part of Venezuela somehow, even though it never was. And exactly the same thing happens in Guatemala over Belize, which used to be British Guyana. Guyana was British Guyana. British Honduras is now Belize, and the same things there as well, because basically the British set up this colony on the coast there, and they didn't tell the people in Guatemala City, because there was a massive jungle between them, that they were there, and it wasn't for a few decades before they found this sort of colony there, and they're like, "Oi, what are you doing here? Piss off! This is our land." And the people there said, "No, we've been living here for centuries."
It's a bit like the Canaries. The Canaries are like right next to West Africa.
Yeah.
You're reminding me
basically Spain.
But they came to a deal, and they said if you build a road from Guatemala City to Belize, then we'll let you keep it. And British Honduras at the time, the British said, "All right then," and they never built the road.
But isn't that what China are doing right now?
No,
Silk Road.
Yes,
they're building roads.
Well, China's actually building the roads. So
Yeah.
It reminds me.
China's all over. So yeah, and like just all of these tariffs and like all of this international tension is like giving way for China to get in and become more like powerful. And yeah, like Trump is the best president China's ever had. You know, it's like
Russia.
crazy.
Russia.
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah, well, China and Russia. Yeah, it's just mad.
Graham, you remind me of that Lady Izzard sketch. Hello, we claim this in behalf of England. And sorry, we live here. But do you have a flag?
Do you have a flag?
You have a flag.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is really good for Russia, because their economy's in the toilet right now. So if every other economy in the world goes in the toilet, they'll be better off relatively. And the other thing is that Trump said this week that he's not going to rule out a third term, which we talked about, haven't we? About the fact he's not leaving, and the way he plans to do it. And he's, it's pretty fucking obvious his plan. It's going to be Vance is going to run, and Trump's going to be his VP, and then Vance is going to step down, and Trump's going to be president again. It's exactly what Vladimir Putin did.
There has been precedent of that before, hasn't there?
No, quit saying
Not in
that.
America,
That's
no.
not right.
But there was George
Said that
Conway,
last time.
the American lawyer, this morning said it is possible legally to do it. One was because the Constitution says you can't be elected twice, so he could just stay in for a third term somehow, or he could do the vice president thing and then become president because the person elected steps down and he automatically
Look at the qualifications to be vice president.
Eisenhower get a third term?
Look at the qualifications to be vice president. You'll see that doesn't make any sense. Like if you're saying that he'll break that rule, then there's no point in talking about the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mikey, please educate me on this. I thought, was it Eisenhower that became he was president?
That was a wartime thing. That was a wartime thing.
Roosevelt. It was FDR, and that was before the rule came in.
Right.
Yeah, we brought it in especially.
He said, "Bring in the rule." I'm about done.
I don't want to do it again. Bring in a rule.
Yeah.
He died in his fourth term of office.
He's like, bruv, I'm knackered.
Oh yeah, I don't want to do it anymore.
We gotta change this.
Yeah,
we gotta do something different.
But it wasn't him who changed it, was it? It was Truman, wasn't it? Who brought it?
So would it need to be a constitutional amendment that would have to come in? But that would mean everyone would have to agree.
Yeah.
No,
and that's not going to happen.
They're not going to amend the constitution. I think they're just going to try and they've already trying to just make sure that no one gets to vote who's going to vote the wrong way. Voter suppression.
Mikey has a point that he can't run as vice. And I said this to Mikey the other night. What they're going to do is Vance is going to run, somebody else is going to run as vice. Then they're going to get him head of the House, the third
speaker.
position.
Yeah.
Speaker of the House. Because that speaker position doesn't have the same qualification that the vice does, where you can't have previously been the president.
Speaker's basically like the deputy, isn't he?
Then both the president and vice president step down, and that would then make Trump president in the third term.
But then he'll be 83 years old.
Yeah.
Biden was trying to run at 82.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but it's more in the sense of just
he's already not qualified.
Is he gonna be right in the head? Like, is he gonna be another Joe Biden?
He's not right in the head now, Scott.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like actual, slow dementia, sort of, withering away.
Mitch McConnell made it to what age, Mikey? What he's retiring at 90 something?
Turtles are very hard to tell their age. We have to wait till he dies and cut him in half and count the rings.
That guy, I don't know what was in his genes that just kept him going.
Hate.
He literally turned purple at one point, and he still kept going.
Oh, what's that lady from Coronation Street who looks like a turtle as well? I swear it's her dad. What is her name?
The Americans don't
You
know
know
the answer to this question, Wayne.
What was the question?
I know. That's what
What
I'm
was the
saying.
lady in Coronation Street? The Mikey and Ali just went, I don't even know what that is.
I know what Coronation Street is, but I don't really watch
Stop,
it. My
Zero.
parents do.
No shit.
So
Just to
so-
finish
Dale,
my thought
Dale.
there from a second ago. The other thing too is that's going to create a constitutional crisis, and with all his picks on the Supreme Court, because that's where it'll end up going, they'll put him in for the third term.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
was the thought.
Yeah.
So
One of the just to bring us back to long-lived gobshites, Strom Thorm, what is it?
Thurmond.
Thurmond. Strom Thurmond. This was
Thurmond.
this Thurmond.
No D.
Thurmond. Okay. He was a disgusting old racist who was an elected official, wasn't he? He was in the
Zero.
He was senator for South Carolina, one of the senators, and he was still in office at the age of 101.
holy fuck.
And he also used to hold the record for the longest filibuster, which was broken this week.
Yep.
And
He
his
was also
filibuster was to
racist.
try and stop the civil rights.
That's why he did it. He was like,
Civil Rights Act.
no integration. I'll stand up
Yeah.
here for 100 years and a half if I have to. And I'm a Zero. Come here.
Oh, sorry, no, he died at 100. So he was there still at 100 years old. So if Trump lives as long as he does, Trump will still be around in
I
2045.
think all modern democracies should have term limits imposed.
100%.
I think we should
On
be more
all
Vikings.
positions.
You know what the Vikings used to do?
Fight.
Used to throw their old people off fucking cliffs. That's what they used
Eat
to.
shark.
You know, they say, "Oh, you should respect your elders. You should respect your elders." Yeah, all civilizations around the world, they always respected their elders. The fucking Vikings didn't. They just pushed them off a cliff.
So this is the point where
Sacrificed
Jarsan just pops in
You're my
the
age.
square in the corner.
Have you seen the movie Midsummer?
Yes.
Nope.
Scott, you know what I'm
No.
talking about, yeah?
Kind of. It was a while ago I watched it.
It's
Enjoyed it. It was good. It was all right.
it has a very, very gruesome scene in which an elderly couple
Yes.
tried to unalive themselves.
It's quite the film.
But
Did you
one of them
say-
doesn't quite do it right, so they have to bring up the big comedy hammer. Oh, it's a fucked up film. It really is a fucked
Yeah,
up film.
it's quite the
It
film.
doesn't sound like the sort of film I want to watch.
Yeah, well, you should.
Yeah, you're
watch
really
it.
selling it. I should totally check this out.
You should. You should totally
Yeah.
see it. It's really good.
If you like
actually.
horror films, it's great.
Yeah, it's a great
If,
horror
if you
film.
like what's it called? Folk horror, like Wicker Man,
Oh,
the
yeah.
good one, not the shit
It's
one.
actually very, very much Wicker Man like.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
that'll be America's in about 10 years' time. Very religious. They'll all be worshipping the sun. They won't have any connection with the real world anymore. They're all going to be. I mean, it's like,
Well, they've got one now.
well, I mean, they won't let us. You know, there's nobody wants to travel to America. All the European countries have said, "Don't go to America."
Yep.
No, do you know,
And
I
actually,
think
all the European,
70% of visitors have gone down. 70% of
yeah,
like people
Yeah.
traveling have gone
and all
down.
the and all the
70% of what?
70% of travel to America has gone down from Europe.
yeah,
Whoa.
and all the
It's the same
countries.
here.
There's been a UN warning. There's all the European countries, and then most European countries have written to their trans community and said, "Don't go to America." Except one country wants trans people to go to America or be arrested. Can you guess which country wants their trans
Russia. Russia.
European country?
Oh, European. Turkey.
No, the United Kingdom.
What?
Oh, of course.
Yep.
So-
Sorry,
United
what?
Kingdom.
It
European
wants
country,
trans
don't
people to go to America.
Hasn't every other European country's warned trans
So
people
hasn't
not to
warned.
go,
Oh, it hasn't
Yeah.
warned.
but not the United Kingdom?
Whoa!
Why would you think that was?
That's fucking disgraceful.
I know.
It was the International Trans Day of Visibility, wasn't it?
On
this week?
Monday, yeah, and
and
Labour had a
none of-
big
and none of
party.
the
Labour
people
didn't
showed
say
up?
anything.
Labour had a big party at number 10 and didn't invite any trans
Mark
people.
Carney didn't say anything either. Who's running for
Had a lot of-
Prime
Rachel,
Minister
Rachel,
of
how about
Ollie's
me
land?
and you go arm in arm to Alabama? See how we get on.
Yeah, that'd be.
That's a
Not
stupid
gonna be
idea.
great.
now.
That's not gonna be a great night out, is it?
You've seen that episode of Top Gear, haven't you, where they wrote Hillary for president on one of the cars? Jesus, they were looking to escape their lives.
Is that where we're getting our
Hillary for
political
president.
commentary about the states is from fucking Top Gear and fucking Jeremy
No,
Clarkson?
that would be the remake. The
This
remake
is
of
the shit I'm talking about. And then you're like, what? We're not disrespectful. I'm like, you're taking your fucking cues from fucking
but the
Captain Slow. Like
the remake of Deliverance. The
I
remake
will
of
not have
Deliverance would be
anything
a
said
black
about
guy, a
Captain Slow.
trans
He's got a
person,
very
and a
nice
woman.
pub.
Can't listen to two people at the same time, guys.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rachel,
wait your
speak.
turn, Wayne.
3 is worst.
I was just saying the remake of Deliverance will be a black guy, a trans person, and a woman traveling going through the the Alapatian mountains, and they can heal whatever it is they do. That's going to be great.
I think we need is there an add-on for Zoom where we can we have to hold down a button in order to speak, and then no one else can be heard, and then when we take our finger away, people can speak. And whoever pressed it first gets to talk.
I've got to
set that up.
You get
So
a
we'll make a
button. Get a button.
That was easy.
Yeah, get a button.
Does it say anything when you press it?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yay! Love
Easy.
it. Good easy button. We got a super chat though from Ian Cullen. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Oh man, I can't open a pack of What's-Its without being reminded of Trump. It's all Graham's fault. Quavers from now on.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Ian, but thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And sorry for ruining What's-Its forever.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't me. It was Trump. Trump ruined What's-Its and Cheetos.
Yeah. Yeah. Frazzles. That's it. Just have to.
Trump sucks.
Hate him. He's ruined a lot of things, hasn't he?
He has.
I'm fed up of seeing his fucking face.
Yeah.
He is definitely dominating the media sphere at the moment, and the media are just sucking it up. They're just loving it.
Yeah, does anyone remember Ukraine or Gaza right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's worried about what they're going to eat.
Good point. Yeah.
I got the news. I got really bad news on Wednesday. I was doing a talk, and someone who's given in the super chat said that one of the followers of this channel from Poland had actually died fighting in Ukraine.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we've got this fucker in the White House saying, "Oh, Ashley Zelensky's the baddie if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's all Ukraine's fault for invading themselves."
Did you know that in the first 2.5 months he's been in, he has yet to not spend a weekend playing golf?
I was about to say
that's
after
normal.
he pulled out his little dumbass chart with his bullshit tariffs, he got right on that helicopter so he could go play golf.
Yeah, all weekend.
Oh.
I swear, Graham, are we deep enough in that I can do a C-bomb?
No, just don't risk it. Don't risk it for a biscuit, Wayne. Because I'll tell you why as well. If it does demonetize for that, then I have to scrub through the whole bloody episode to find where you say it and then mute it.
Then you can timestamp it.
No, Wayne. I've got literally a million
I'll-
better things to do with me time.
Wayne's famous for writing down timestamps.
I'll insinuate a C-bomb, right? All right. If that particular C-bomb of a president wears a tan suit, he's gone full circle hypocrite. Because he was always on about Obama not doing stuff. And then as soon as he wore the tan suit, he was like, oh, this is so disgraceful. And then when Zelensky turned up wearing his like fatigues.
Yeah, a week after Elon Musk had been in the Oval Office, dressed up as the most divorced dad energy ever.
Yeah. Do you see Vance in Greenland though? He was wearing
Nothing.
he was wearing Zelensky's outfit, right?
Right. Literally.
Yeah.
That was quite disrespectful considering no one in Greenland wanted him there.
No one wanted him there. They didn't want him there in the first place. It's crazy.
But how would he know, Scott? Because no one wants him anywhere.
Did you see the shot of him waving at nobody coming off the plane?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shots of Trump doing the same thing though, so it's just standard practice for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
just-
optics, all media. It's all that is. It's
Yeah.
just
Mosaic Owl in the chat saying, I'm glad I'm too disadvantaged and economically underprivileged to own any stocks. Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't have to own stocks to be affected by this because it affects pension funds. It
Yeah.
affects salaries. It affects
all their
jobs.
pension funds in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
These
and not
Some-
just
401ks.
and not just like rich people, but like especially here in the States, like the retirement fund for like teachers and like nurses and stuff like that, that's tied up in the stock market too.
Yeah.
So that's their
Yeah.
money that is taking a 10% hit in the last couple of weeks. So that's
Days.
Check this out.
Days.
well,
Days,
I know
Mikey.
why-
10% in the last 2 days.
I've
I
seen
know
so
why
much.
Trump and Vance waved to the non-existent crowds. Somebody said later on we'll fill in the history books and we'll CGI a crowd in there for you.
the AI.
That's
in.
one of the.
God.
I've seen a
Oh
lot of
my
people online
God.
saying buy a 401k because of all this.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's not really going to hit home, I don't think, until the markets open on Monday.
Yeah, when they
'Cause-
start buying their eggs and pumping their gas.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Was it 3 trillion was wiped off on Friday?
3.1
Yeah.
yesterday.
You kind of
Yeah.
you tried us a little.
That's
bit on
the
that
that's
one,
the
yeah. You already said
GDP of the United Kingdom is 3.1 trillion
Yeah,
dollars.
that is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got lots of shares and you are rich, you can, and you can ride it out, right? Because you'll still carry on buying those shares at the bottom of the market. You can wait 10 years for the market to recover again if it ever recovers, and then your portfolio booms. But you've got to have other money to live on and be wealthy to survive it. So there are people with lots of shares who don't really care.
There's not going to be anything to buy. That's the thing that they're forgetting, is that when you completely devastate everybody else's money, who's going to be at the restaurant for when you want to just have brunch with your girlfriend? Like, there's not going to be a brunch, dude. We're not going to be fucking serving people when we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to go find some, you know what I mean? Like, there's not going to be this service industry that they've grown accustomed. They're going to be on their own, or they're going to have to have they're going to have to just stay in their house. What are they going to do? Go out in public? Go ahead and show up. Go ahead and show up in public when everyone's starving. Go ahead.
Bray, was it Ken Dodd who was found with like over £1 million under his bed in cash?
Yeah, in a suitcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2 new Diddy men, didn't he? About him
And Michael Benteen.
dodging the tax. Did he pay and did he help?
Yeah. Michael Benteen's Diddy time.
But I think that's why they're trying to phase out cash. So everything's like all these digital sort of transactions that can be traced. Because everyone knows a tradesman that will do it cheaper for cash, or take I'll
Conspiracy
take part.
theory.
It's not. It's not a conspiracy theory.
That's
It's
why
a little
everyone's using their debit cards, is because of the construct. Like, come on, man.
bit. Trust me. It
No,
might be
prove it.
anecdotal.
Prove it. I
from
don't want
me.
to trust you. I want you to prove it.
I
Yep.
can. I can prove it in
Can you?
many ways, and especially within the media industry. Like, I'll take 500 cash, and I'll take I'll put 1,500 on the card. So I've got 500 that I don't have to declare. Trust me, I know it happens.
You probably shouldn't admit stuff like that live on the internet, Wayne.
No,
Just in
I've
case,
not
you never
named
know who's
any
watching.
names or disclosed anything.
Anyway, should we talk about bonds? Not James bonds, but government bonds. So US Treasury bonds in particular. So there's a theory out there that one of the reasons behind these tariffs going out there is to strong arm countries into selling their Treasury bonds because it's overheated the American dollar, made the dollar worth too much, made it too strong, and they want to weaken it. And they want to, instead of having 10-year bonds, they want to sell them 50 or 100-year bonds. And everyone's like, but no one's going to buy them. So America's what? This whole thing, a mass sell-off of US bonds by private investors, it could end up, this is going to sound mad, but bankrupting the world.
Yeah.
Graham, can you explain to me what a bond is to a layman? Because I find them very confusing. Because we have premium bonds over here,
Yeah, it's just about money that you gave to the government, and then they give it back to you after 6 years, 8 years, 10 years,
With
20
interest.
years with interest. But in that time, you can't take it out. You can't withdraw it
Right.
when times are bad or your boiler's bust or something. And instead of investing in bonds in their own country, a lot of private investors and governments around the world have bought American Treasury bonds over the years because that was seen as a more secure currency. It meant that it kept their inflation down and their value of their currency down. Because once you don't really want your currency to be worth that much, because then it makes no one want to buy the stuff from your country because you can't make
But
it
what is
cheap.
that? What is that bond backed by?
The US government say that we will pay you back in X many years, and you'll have you'll have a bond yield on that, so you'll make 10% or whatever it is. And then that government will use those bonds to borrow. So they'll when we talk
so
about
what happens
borrowing
if that
being really
government defaults on that borrowing that they do with your bonds?
It's not just bonds, but it's one of the ways that governments raise money essentially. But they owe it.
Okay.
It goes down as something that they owe, and they have to pay
Yeah.
interest on it, or the equivalent of interest. I think it's got a different name. But that's why we talk about the money that we've got to pay in this country. We have to pay over 110 billion a year, billion with a B, just on the interest in what our government has borrowed.
Yeah.
Governments hate
That's
paying
our money.
interest.
And that will
Just
depend
going on interest.
on your country's loan rating as well. You know, some countries are AAA and some are
Yeah.
not. And we're not. We don't have the top rating anymore. We've got one. So our interest to borrow is higher as a country as well.
Yeah.
I think we're AA and not AAA now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
we
got
are.
downloaded under the Tories. Shocker.
Slightly bigger battery.
Yeah.
It's when you get the D's. Yeah, that's what we're talking.
These they're the big boys. They're big boys. Wayne, can I ask you a question?
Yes, mate.
Have you ever put a 12-volt battery on your tongue?
Yes.
I've
I've also got a Sega Master System plug and put it on my tongue as well.
Oh my God! Really?
You should hold a car.
I've done the 12-volt battery
Hold a
tons of
spark
times.
plug.
12-volt
before.
battery one is like,
Hold
I
a
think
spark
everyone's
plug
done
on a
that
car.
at some point. As a
I do it with the 12. No, I'm thinking the 9-volt battery, not a 12-volt.
Yeah, that's for
battery.
the smoke alarm batteries. But if you hold a spark plug on a car and somebody turns it over, you'll end up traveling across the garage.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Sorry, 9-volt. Sorry, not 12-volt. 9-volt. I'm talking about the ones at the two terminals at one end. So the
Rachel and her
The little
kids.
square ones, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Rachel, you're right. Not a 12-volt battery.
I was
9-volt.
like,
9-volt battery.
Yeah, the fire alarm
Yeah.
batteries.
I've done that maybe 100 times. Old batteries,
Really?
like, oh, is this any good? Touch it right quick to your tongue to see if it's any
You
good.
know it's got a charge in it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
So-
That's why he
Also-
does it.
Also,
Listen to what he's saying, Wayne.
also toxic chemicals.
You can
I
touch
thought
a
you would have just
9-volt
done it as a
battery.
dare at
9-volt,
some point.
No, 9-volt
Pieces
I
of
do.
metal.
But that's why
Two
they
pieces of
invented
metal.
them. Do you remember them Duracell batteries where you had to push the two ends of the
Yeah,
terminal?
they're really
and it-
hard to do that.
And it would just light up.
You get like dents in your fingers from pushing
Yeah.
it so hard.
Yeah.
I bite my nails, so I can't even push the damn.
It used to come with a little strip that you could just hold over either end of the battery and check it that way too.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty cool. So, has anyone got any other news stories that we haven't covered this week? We've had, obviously, we talked a little bit about Russell Brand actually being charged with rape and sexual assault. Also,
Yeah.
P. Diddy's had
He's
more charges
becoming
brought
a new-
against him. The worst week for US stocks since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And stocks around the world have fallen as well. Nintendo have pulled, as Mikey said, they pulled the Switch 2 pre-orders from the US.
Oh,
So
that's it.
we're going to
Yeah.
get them and they won't. And the Falkland Islands surprised to be on Trump's worst offenders list. But what else has been happening this week?
Booker did his 25 hours.
Yes. So let's talk about that. So this is the filibuster. I mentioned that he'd just beaten the record set by some grizzly old racists. So that's
Races back in the 50s.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
all
He
of
was-
E-
did you
all of
see him?
all of Elon's money didn't do shit to Wisconsin.
No, that's
Oh,
great.
Yeah,
that
that's another
was
thing.
Oh, yeah,
really
that's
good
true.
news.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Didn't
Yeah.
touch the
Brilliant.
sides, that
Yeah.
boy.
No.
So did Cory Booker, who's the guy who did this 25
Booker, yeah.
hour long filibuster? Well, it wasn't even a filibuster; it was just a speech, wasn't it? Because he wasn't trying to block anything. Did he go to the
He was
toilet?
just blocking Congress or from acting, right? So
He didn't go to the toilet.
He didn't. He
he
dehydrated.
just wasn't allowed to.
He didn't. He dehydrated himself for a couple of days and purposely, so he had nothing water in his system, and he also didn't eat very much as well. I don't know what the eating achieved.
He stopped eating on the Friday before and stopped drinking the day before.
Yeah,
And wasn't the whole point that he was reading off of a script? It wasn't.
No, yeah, he had bullets. He had bullets, and then
He had more like
he had the
bullet
booklet.
points
He
where
had the
he
big
would
book
say, "Okay,
full
I'm
of
going to talk
bullet
about this for 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about that for 5 minutes."
It was
right? So,
it was a lot of it was emails from his constituents.
that too.
Yeah. Because normally people just start reading out, recipes for pancakes and stuff because they just need to fill up the space with things to talk about. But he was actually talking about how much of a knobhead.
I did not know that they did that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really? Like
Just to run out the time.
Random
As long as they're on
books.
their feet and they're talking,
it doesn't matter what they're talking
doesn't
about.
matter what I'm talking about, man.
Let's sit there and read the whole Harry Potter series, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Because the only
That would
the only
take a
person
week.
the only person I would have thought would be able to do that, Gray, would be Steve Allen, formerly of LBC, because that man could talk about absolute cod shit for hours.
Have you met me? Have you met me?
Yes, I have, Graham.
Only on
Alec
Friday.
Merritt in the chat has just
And I walk away.
a lovely slab of £5 in the super chat fund. Thank you. A Scottish Conservative defected to the Lib Dems over LGBT rights. He also called the Tories Reform Light and the Nasty Party.
Oh,
Okay. One less Scottish
stating the
Conservative.
obvious.
That's good.
Stating the obvious,
Yeah.
That horrible
We all
woman,
know
is it
that.
Jenkins, applied to be a mayor, and then she didn't fill her paperwork out correctly. Did you see that?
Oh, she's a moron, isn't she? Yeah, she's doing something for a reform party, and then it all kind of went wrong. I don't know the full details of
I
it.
think she was applying to be mayor of one of the northern towns, because it's north of Watford, so I don't know which one. But she got the paperwork wrong, I think. But that was I saw her this morning, but she may have got it sorted. But who knows? It was a bit like Fox when he applied to be mayor and he didn't get it in time.
Oh, Lawrence Fox. Yeah. Well, isn't he been accused of doing something
Charged
very,
again? Upskirting.
Upskirting.
Yes, upskirting, yes.
Because he retweeted a picture that had been taken of a woman without her consent, and he retweeted it because he thought he was being funny or something. And he is just such a fucking horror show. Him and Russell Brand, all that lot, like whatever they're teaching them in these posh private schools, it's not how to be a nice person, is it? It's not how to treat people with respect.
I'm so disappointed in Russell Brand because, like, at one point,
Wayne's got his tattoo on his lower back.
At one point, he was a bit of a hero. Do you know what I mean?
Was he?
He was like,
He's always a Nancy cunt.
10 years ago, yeah.
Sorry, I've just dropped the
There it
C-bomb.
is. There it is.
Sorry, I've always absolutely fucking hated that man.
Okay, so no, if this video gets demonetized, it was Graham. I told you.
Yeah, it was, but it's my channel. It's okay. It's my channel, Wayne. If you have your own channel, I go on it and I demonetize it. You can shout at me.
Right, in that case, cunty cunt.
Stop it. You're allowed one.
He's still doing it. Why are you doing it?
I've done the quota. God, it's like a kid with a chocolate bar. Anyway, listen, right? Russell Brand, he was just pretending to be all right on to sell a fucking book.
Yeah.
That was it. He wanted to sell his Revolution book, and what he did is he went round in 2015 before the election, and he told people not to vote for any of them because all the politicians are the same.
Yeah, and he had Ed Miliband around his ass, didn't he? When he
but that was a bit late because that was after he told all the little teenage fans of his not to register to vote, and they didn't. And the Tories won that fucking election. And the Tories were surprised at winning that election, but they had a little help, didn't they, from their private school mafia friend, i.e. Russell Brand. Went to the Sylvia Young School of Acting. Yeah.
But his actual formal education was like state school, wasn't it? In Grays, in Essex.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Nothing
It
about
must have come from money because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to go to Sylvia.
No, not at all.
Sylvia Young.
No, mate, trust me, you do not need money to go Sylvia Young. You get a scholarship, you're done.
I don't think he got a scholarship. But even if he did, don't care. It's a private school. and I just don't like him.
You're that cutthroat about it.
Yeah, I am. Especially someone like that who, like, when I had gone, like, this is like 15 years ago when I was being interviewed for BBC, ITV, Channel 4, and I'd sometimes have chats with the production crew and people like that. I did some TED Talks as well and met some other people, and if ever his name came up in conversation with people who had worked with him, especially women, they were the first thing that says, like, I'll never work with him again. The man's a monster. And someone said to me after the stuff about Jimmy Savile had come out, she said he's like a young Jimmy Savile.
Wow.
And everyone was
Wayne
talking
Manson.
about it, and no one wanted to do anything about it.
It was Catherine Ryan that really broke it. One of the early ones to break it, wasn't it?
She
love
never
her.
named him, though, did she? And she still
No, she
hasn't.
didn't.
She
She
still
didn't.
hasn't.
But it kind of triggered a lot of momentum around that
Yeah.
time. When she sort of said there was
Yeah.
somebody, and it was like, well, hang on a minute. That she kind of closed the loop of what making him identifiable.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
she made some pun about the Bucky Wook or something, didn't
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
Made it because no, it was a roast, wasn't it? It was a comedy roast.
Yeah.
And she went in for it, and he got really, really upset with her because he was one of the he was, I think there weren't there 3 people who were like the compares of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Them
think,
two and Jimmy Carr.
yeah, Jimmy Carr, and I think what they did was they skirted the extremities of it without actually plunging in and naming anyone, but they did it in such a way that they were exonerated from any sort of legal sort of like blowback.
Yeah. But no, Catherine Ryan's a bit of hero of mine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She's
we've had a couple of super chats come in. Thank you very much to Ian for the £5 super chat. Is it just me, or does Rachel Reeves resemble a malfunctioning fembot from Bionic Woman? Anyone remember that?
yeah.
Were fembots in Bionic Woman? We were talking about that on the rabbit hole, weren't we, Rachel?
There were fembots in the original series of Star Trek with fembot types. So obviously, it's the fembots in Austin.
Did they
Powers.
fire lasers out their boobs?
They didn't, but they had very pointy boobs.
Hey,
And they were and they were robots.
Oh, the scariest fembot from my childhood was that one from Superman 3, the one with Richard Pryor in it.
Oh,
You remember?
such a bad
was there a
movie.
fembot in that?
Yeah.
Kinda.
That's how Peter Thiel and Musk got their ideas from for PayPal, wasn't it?
I only watched.
Because it was where do all the half pennies go? Where do all the half pennies go? And he broke into the computer and took all the half pennies from the bank.
Yeah, Richard Pryor.
Yes. And he became like the richest man in the world by taking all the half pennies from every transaction that went through the bank. Tons of Mice, thank you very much for the $10 US. Tons of Mice says, my third wife was a malfunctioning fembot.
That's typical
Must have been
Tons
fun.
right there. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
He shoots, he scores. That's all I can say.
Chris C said, as a former scout, I had respect for Bear Grylls, privately educated, of course, who was the chief scout. All that respect went out the day he baptized Brand, knowing that he was a rapist. Well, a potential rapist, no alleged rapist.
Yeah.
I'd be very, very surprised if he gets away with this. I mean, it's 4 women.
Yeah. Then more will come out, I think. Feels like.
So apparently he's going to be coming back, right? So he has to actually come back to.
Yeah, is he going to come back? Is he going
England.
to? Is he sort of going to tate himself over to Saudi Arabia?
No, he's already issued a rebuttal online, which I watched earlier.
He has done a statement,
Yeah,
where
of course he
talks
has.
about God a lot,
And then I just looked at the comment section, and it was all victim blaming. Oh, these girls are finding.
I was a bad person, and these things happened.
Darian Dustar, thank you very much for the super chat. Wasn't malfunctioning fembot the names of games Girls Aloud before they changed it? Malfunctioning fembot, was that what Girls Aloud were called?
That's a great name.
It was always a bit weird that the gender of the band needed to be put into bands if it was women. So you had the Spice Girls and you had Atomic
Bangles?
Kitten. And, well, not the Bangles, but Girls Aloud and the Sugar Babes.
Well, the
Shakespeare's-
Bengals. What is
Shakespeare's
the
sister.
Bengal?
Shakespeare's sister, yeah.
You can also go for the guys, Boyzone and whatever.
Bananarama, though.
Yeah, at the
I
same
suppose
time.
Alice Cooper wasn't a woman.
And Bananarama wasn't really like a banana, isn't?
Banana Man was
Oh,
fucking
Alice Cooper,
best.
he's something else, isn't he? The man has made a whole career calling himself a girl's name and dressing up in makeup, and he had a nerve to come for trans people.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
it's unreal.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
what?
yeah.
You
I mean-
literally made your career calling yourself a girl's name.
It's really
Dumb.
it's really awkward when certain generations talk about how emasculated like millennials and Gen Z and alphas are, and it's like, did you see the 80s?
Yeah,
Because
did
y'all
you see
had
the
more
70s?
eyeliner and feathered hair than I have ever seen in my entire life.
I
Like,
mean,
the
just
coiffure
look
was
at
real.
Guns N' Roses and Poison.
Well,
And
look at
let's
Trump
look at-
and Vance.
Yeah.
Eyeliner and
yeah,
makeup.
yeah, they got
We-
loads of makeup on.
But we were covering
all
this.
of hair metal. All of hair metal.
All of hair metal was
We saw
men
y'all in
dressed
the
up as women.
70s.
We did this on down the rabbit hole, and Wrath of Khan 2. Khan's crew looked like Adam and the Ants, right?
Yeah.
they all
They were all
dressed like Adam
the
and the Ants.
romantics.
It
Yeah.
was great. Everyone was androgynous. Everyone was having a good time. Ernie Burns says Boyzone. Fat Panda says Backstreet Boys. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's both of them. Yeah. But the thing is, as someone who used to do a podcast called Three Blokes in a Pub, it's the worst fucking idea because if someone dies or leaves or whatever, you've got to
Okay,
try and
bro.
replace them with someone, and you can't. Could you have a man in
Think
the
about
Sugar
how
Babes?
my mate feels when he's in
Why
a
not?
boy band.
Why not? What if he's a big old camp queen? He could be a sugar
You're a
babe.
babe,
Hey,
sugar.
I'm a
Graham.
sugar babe.
So
you know.
5 or the Jackson 5 or the Magnificent 7. You know,
You mean
there's-
3? Oh no, sorry, they're 5 again. Sorry.
Fun Boy 3.
Yeah, maybe that one of them isn't fun.
Yeah, and
maybe
they've just sold out the O2
Maybe not.
Arena.
Yeah,
Well done,
but it does
lads.
have boy in the title. And the Pet Shop Boys. Okay, fair enough. I'll just stop doing this. Footham Shook says Sylvia Young is a stage school. Last time I looked, there were no state-run stage schools. So if a kid is really keen to learn how to dance or
Isn't
act,
the
there's no
Brit
equivalent
school they,
in the public sector. There is the Brit School, which is I think it's
in Croydon. I found out.
Yeah, it's a Croydon.
yeah, but
I thought that was sort of state.
it is. It's kind of like a halfway house thing where it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a
They
private.
run like scholarships and stuff.
Vicky
like
McClure from Line of Duty, she was given a place at the Sylvia Young School, but she couldn't. Her parents couldn't afford to pay for her to go, so she didn't.
that. And Pauline Quirk's got one round here from Birds of a Feather.
Yeah.
She's got an
one.
acting school.
Yeah.
What, to be in a marginally funny early 90s sitcom?
He was in quite late.
Well,
Pauline
Bill,
Quirk has
right?
been in loads of different stuff.
Pauline Quirk's been in lots of things other than Birds of a Feather.
Yeah.
She used to do that series in the 70s with the Bay City Rollers, which was
What?
trying to get. Yeah. She was in a series on ITV where she spent most of the series trying to get them to take their clothes off. That was the 70s.
See, Graham's exposing his
Hands
snobbery
people.
now.
Mhm.
It was a different time. It was a very different time. Jesus
It
Christ.
was a golden age. We thought it would last 1,000 years.
Yeah. We did.
Everything was brown and orange.
Well, I only have the satisfaction that, if the world does end this in the next couple of months, I've lived a lot longer than you lot. So I'm just like, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, you
L7, L7, they're
Roll
gendered. Whole,
Back in the-
maybe.
Sorry?
How was L7 gendered?
L, because L like she in French. L.
Mm.
That's a stretch.
L,
Yeah,
that was
it's
a letter.
stretch. That is a stretch.
That's a stretch.
All right. All right.
It's a bit of a reach.
Just don't do it. Although I have to say, if you do have one bloke in your band, or and they sometimes get to sing, don't let them do a song. I'm looking at you, churches, and Wolf Alice. Actually, please don't let the bloke sing. Jesus Christ, I think Sleeper do it as well. Don't let the bloke sing in Sleeper. Just don't do it, Louise.
Louise from Sleeper. Oh, she was fit. Sailor of the Century. Oh my God, that movie.
Now remember, guys, this is coming from Graham, who only listens to singer-songwriter music played on an accordion. So
That's not true. Graham is quite
Yeah.
trendy, actually.
And C6 Steve.
he only wants to
I
hear
saw
stuff
Sleeper
written
live
by
a couple of years
people-
ago, Manchester.
He only wants to hear music written by people who are on the brink of
I-
depression and who have a coffee-stained manuscript on their desk. If it's not that, keep it.
Right, if they've not performed on Jules Holland, Graham doesn't want to know.
Can I be fine?
Who went to see a live gig this week? Who went to see Ash and the Darkness? That'll be me.
Oh,
That'll be
here
me.
we go.
There you go. Lifeless
Oh.
Ordinary, Shining Light, Burn Baby, Girl from Mars.
Name dropping again.
Name dropping.
He's not name dropping anything.
my
Ash
friend Kareem was in the
haven't been
video for
relevant
Burn
for
Baby
about
Burn.
15 years. So he's not name dropping.
Triangle stage
anything.
at Glastonbury then, because there can be all the '90s bands back in Glastonbury.
That Ash are playing at Glastonbury.
Yeah,
Are they?
because you're like, you young people. you don't have
They're
any
my
music
plan
of
F
your
for
own,
getting
do
in.
you?
Rachel, it's all right. I mean, I know back in the day when you was listening to your, the bangers from like Mozart and Bach.
Mozart was a great party animal, I tell you. Yeah. You knew it.
Oh, the way you used to hit that fifth. Oh yeah.
Speaking of Bacchus, they're gonna bring up an investigation on Hegseth for his signal usage, because I think it was a bridge too far for him to have a reporter in on the group chat.
Yeah.
I thought they announced this week that was a non-issue now. That was all done, and
Yeah,
Jesus.
Bondi.
they're going to move forward.
But Pam Bondi's not the only investigatory body in the government.
Right.
So
That's amazing. So they can just say, "Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on."
That's what
So
they tried to
Tories
do,
used to do that, didn't they? They'll say, "Oh, we've got to move on from this."
We're going to move on from this now. We're not going to comment on it anymore in the press because we're just going to we're just going to forget it actually happened now, and no one's going to be punished or take accountability for it.
The British public don't care.
You remember the Little Britain sketches when David Walliams and Matt Lucas used to come to the edge of the gates and talk to the
it's exactly the same thing.
reporters. It's like,
I fell on the vacuum cleaner by.
I was about to get into the shower and I took all my clothes off and I realised I was in an alleyway.
And the cleaner, sirs, just happened to be there, and he had an erect phallus, and I slipped and fell onto it.
This isn't
All been there.
that far removed from actual reality, though, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how they get away with it. That whole thing was based on David Cameron used to come and bring tea for the reporters.
Yeah,
and then Boris Johnson did it, and and then they'd have their little charming chats and blah blah blah, trying to get a quote out of them. They didn't say anything of import in any way, shape, or form.
But do you remember that episode of Black Mirror? That was
no, because I don't just constantly watch TV, Wayne.
No. But it was about the Prime Minister being blackmailed that he had to go and do something to a pig, which was based on the rumor of David Cameron.
Oh my God! You just reminded me of something, Wayne. Did anyone hear what Katie Hopkins did this week?
Oh, she made fun of disabled people.
Oh my!
What did she do?
God!
She was throwing up at the idea of an armless person.
Yeah. So basically, she was saying that when you can see the stump of someone who's lost their arm or lost their leg, and she was pretending to dry heave about how disgusting it was.
It was quite.
She didn't want to see that.
That's what she does. That's what she does.
Monsters walk amongst us.
She is absolutely fucking horrific. Ironically, that's what I do when I look at her fucking face, because she's got a face like Zelda from the Terrorhawks, only worse.
That's what she does now, though. That's her shtick, isn't it? To be as outrageous and awful as possible.
Yeah, but it's because she's not relevant anymore. She's not scoring the points that she used to score back in the day.
Yeah,
and now she's trying to be as outrageous as she possibly can, just to get some fucking clicks and giggles. But she ain't getting it because she's shit.
Yeah, there's always a worse person. The people have got because the Overton windows shifted to the right. There are worse people out there than her. It's like Gender Crits of 2016. They were bad, but they are nowhere compared to the current lot.
Because they're really crazy.
Yeah, they're really crazy. So there's always somebody in a faster car,
and she's just trying to keep up.
Yeah, she is.
Chris C is saying David Walliams and Matt Lucas caused so much damage by their betrayal of disabled people. I completely agree with that. I mean, I've talked about it on the show before.
And trans people and old people.
Yeah, and working class people.
It was all completely. I mean, you can't even. Would the BBC even show the Britain now.
No,
No, they've had to censor some of the
they've actually come out and
episodes.
said they will refuse, and both Williams and Lucas have said they're ashamed of what they did.
They did
back
blackface.
then. Yeah,
No, they did it all. Everything that
This
was
is
taboo. they
back
did.
in the
Same as-
1950s or something.
same
This
as,
was 20 years ago.
same as Lee Francis with Bo Selector.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Which also wasn't funny. It's just one of those shows that people went
No.
raved about, and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't like
No,
it.
I didn't like it.
Don't know. It didn't tickle me funny bones. I'm watching. I'm watching at the moment. The hotel, the Lotus Hotel, Lotus Hotel,
White Lotus.
Crossroads.
The
White
no?
Lotus. God, this is funny.
White Lotus.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, it is a very, very dark comedy, and it's bonkers. It's great. Love it.
White Lotus is great.
Sorry.
White Lotus is great. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, like, have you seen seasons 1 and 2 as well, or are you just
I'm just
starting
starting
on
with season 1, so I'm only a few episodes in.
season?
So no
Oh,
spoilers.
good. You know, like, no, like, it's a very kind of funny caricature of how rich, like, people. I mean, how
Yes.
like rich people live. You know, it's just
Yeah. The only
like,
likable
very
character is the one who isn't
incisive, yeah.
rich. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for this. And the hotel manager's obviously based on Basil Fawlty because he absolutely fucking hates all of his clientele.
no, he's a
And I
character.
would as well in
Yeah.
his position because they're all
Yeah.
rich fuckers.
Yeah.
But we're worth checking out the White Lotus so far. I'll let you know if it
Yeah.
goes downhill. But yes, Gina Lefty says she's talking about Katie Hopkins. She's worse than Chubby Brown somehow.
Yeah.
She's just
Over
it
there.
being her shtick doesn't make it right, says Pete.
no, but nothing she says is good.
No.
But that is what she does. That's what she's That's the only reason we'll ever talk about her.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if they ever make a spitting image puppet of it, it'll look normal because she looks like a spitting image puppet?
I just think you just need to put her hand up her arse and just move her mouth. You wouldn't need to make one.
I won't want to go anywhere near that, mate. Oh, Jesus. I think I'm going to have a bath
Imagery.
after you said that. I had to wash myself. Yeah, so anyway, is there anything else happened this week that we need to talk about that's cropped up in the
Did we
news?
have a chat
Anyone?
about? Did we have a chat about Trump's gold card? Like
Yeah,
the
oh,
$5
yeah.
million.
Oh, his gold card. He came out the
Yeah,
toilet on his
he-
plane with a gold
Yeah.
card with his face
Yeah.
on it. I went, it's
Oh.
for
He
you,
said, "This
5
one's
million,
mine."
and I'm the
$5
first person
million.
to buy it.
You can
Yeah.
just walk
Yeah.
into
This one's
America.
And the reporter said to him, "How many of these have you sold?" He said, "Well, the first one I've just bought." So he bought. He supposedly spent
Why
5
would-
million. Yeah, exactly. And they said, "Who bought the second one?" He goes, "I don't know." It's like,
Oh.
okay, you learn one name, mate. One name. Anybody you've sold it to. Himself.
This is
Somebody
weekend. This is Weekend at Bernie's with more spray tan. I think he's cooked. I think his brain is all scrambled eggs, and he's just done. And everyone's and there's just a bunch of rich fucks just like leading him around, getting him to sign shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in the 70s, we did that. The Russians did that with Brezhnev. They wheeled him around for 3 years on one of those trolleys and just wheeled him out. And everyone went, "Oh, it's Brezhnev." And it was like, and until they eventually flipped him out. But he
Well,
was
didn't they do that with the North Korean leader? They made everyone believe that he was still alive for like years.
King Jong-un.
No, he
years.
still is. He
Oh,
still
yeah.
is. He is still officially the leader of North Korea. Is the grandfather of Kim Jong Un, who's been
Oh.
dead
And
since
he's
1989 or
not
something.
been-
All right, he's still the official leader, is he?
He's just knocked
Yeah.
in 18 holes in one as well.
It's insane, isn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
But
Yeah.
they keep the tomb of Lenin. You can go and have a look at the embalmed body of Vladimir Lenin if you like in Moscow. If you're mad enough to
Yes,
go there.
no,
now.
it's true. It's true. You can. Yeah.
the other one.
We're
was
talking
Laura
about travel warnings, by the way. Sorry, Rachel, go on.
No, I was just to say Laura Loomer went to the Oval Office.
yes.
A
Oh
conspiracy theory.
yes.
That's
Somehow she's got some
hold over him. and it's
something
like-
over him.
and insisting that he sacks, members of the government. And it's like, just a minute, you're a conspiracy theorist. She was. I mean, the only thing that
A
she's been
bassist
used-
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Oh,
she's
she's
And
awful.
the only useful idiot she's been is that she's been giving them all a hard time and not releasing the Epstein files. because he's like, "Oh, where are they then? We want those." Is like, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to get right on that." Yeah, of course you are.
Oh, they
got
gotta stop pretending to release these files. All they do is just release a bunch of pieces of paper that are completely redacted and don't say anything.
We all
Well,
know.
Trump put out the
think- I
JFK things completely unredacted, and you know, doxed like a whole bunch of people. So
Oh, did he?
put their,
Yeah,
he put
released their
fucking
social security numbers.
Yeah, he put their social security numbers out on the internet.
Excellent.
Done.
I think there's going to be a massive shake-up in the American legacy media in the coming months because of our
Well, that's what they want.
reckless.
Well, nobody's watching it.
No. But this is what I'm saying. The reason they're going to do that is because they want to get eyeballs on their product, so they're going to start having to go like full nuclear on stuff.
But
Especially with the way the recklessness of how Trump's tariffs are and how obvious everything is and how their ratings are diminishing. They're going to have to do something.
But there's
and then when they fully turn on him, that's when it's going to sort of like, it's going to all fall out in the wash, you know?
Yeah.
Laura Loma's got a history of recording people and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
But there's laws, isn't there, in certain states? You one party law and two party laws. You can't record someone and broadcast it unless they know that it's been recorded. And then there's other.
What's the penalty for that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna sue me? I don't care. I'll put the story out.
Too late. It's already out. Doesn't matter.
Now what are you gonna do?
No, but there are states. It's different for different states, isn't it? Where you can privately record someone without them knowing, and then that's fine. But there's other states where you need to have consent to record that conversation.
There's a lot of love coming in from the chat for Richard O'Brien from the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Crystal Maze. And I met him when I was working at Fab Cafe in Manchester.
Has he
and
passed
he is
away or
a
something?
really, really nice bloke. Sorry,
Has he passed away?
Val
No,
Kilmer
people are
died.
just talking about him. People are just talking about him.
Oh, I love Robin's Nest. Boom boom. Oh no, that was Richard O'Sullivan.
I love Crystal Maze.
Bad joke.
Oh, Crystal Maze was amazing, mate.
It was great.
It was very good. Although it does have the
Crystal
biggest
Maze was
dickheads
the
ever
funnest-
on.
They've had some of the stupid people. That's like The Apprentice, isn't it?
Bring
The
it.
Apprentice they're just bringing stupid people so you can watch stupid people try to figure things
Stupid
out.
posh people on The Apprentice.
You do.
Well, they're stupid
Mikey,
posh
did you ever
people.
catch a Crystal Maze over there?
I was more of the adventure game, another 80s.
I remember the adventure game.
I remember
This
that.
is the
Much
plant.
better.
This is the actual plant from the
Gronda
adventure game.
Uncle.
Yeah, you had to give the plant a gift, and if the plant didn't
Did.
like your gift, you get vaporized.
You had to go Gronda Uncle.
Yeah. I like the room that was completely dark, and they had like a UV light in there, didn't they?
Yeah.
UV
Oh, that's
camera.
that's one of the clubs I go to on a Saturday.
And you had to guide them. Oh no, it wasn't UV. It was infrared. It was an infrared camera, and you had to guide them through this completely dark room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what,
And then they had
what
to
I
cross
loved
the
about
bridge at the
the
end.
about the Crystal Maze is the obnoxious, narcissistic twats that would not listen to their teammates.
Yeah.
It's that one.
think-
It's that one. Pick that
I mi-
one.
I might
no,
be
it's not that
wrong.
one.
I might be wrong, but I think that the guy who did
Right.
the games for the adventure game is a French guy.
Yeah.
And he did the games for the Crystal Maze, definitely Crystal Maze, and Fort Boyard, I think it was called.
Well, boy,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I think now
That was
all
the same-
Endemol
those
Productions. I
two-
think they were all Endemol.
Definitely, the last two. I don't know about. I think Adventure Game had him as the games designer as well. He's just an absolute genius. Mates of mine in Liverpool once had a house party, and they set up each room in the house as a different Crystal Maze puzzle.
Brilliant.
That's pretty cool.
That was very cool.
I was at a house party like that in the 90s, but each room just had a different type of,
Drug.
That's a very different way of taxing your brain.
Yeah, that's called the Crystal Meth Room.
no, there was no crystal meth. No.
The Adventure Game and Crystal Maze and Nightmare, what they all had in common is no
Nightmare
fucker
was
ever
brilliant.
won. No one ever won them. Everyone always lost. It was hilarious. No one ever
Oh, so
found
these
out.
are
what
game
happened.
shows because you guys did the thing
Nightmare,
again.
they're really bad. They're really bad graphics
So-
when they step up of a ledge and they just drop down, and it's just.
So are these game shows because you guys did the thing again where you almost described what it was, but then you just started reminiscing about it?
Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
what I'm saying.
Mikey.
We gotta stop getting into these conversations because we leave these guys out. They don't know what we're talking about.
Scott, that's why
And
you're
this is-
here.
and the
You're
best
here
part
to
is-
translate
What,
into
to bridge
American.
the gap? What am I
Yeah,
supposed to do?
you are the bridge over the Atlantic. You're
And the
longest
best part
bridge
is
ever.
when we say, "Hey, but what is it?" They just tell another story about how much they like
I know. It's
enjoying
hysterical.
whatever the thing was. It's like,
I love Mikey says that we all like get together before the show and say, "Hey,
I just
when
wanna-
Mikey comes on,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Wombles. This'll
Yeah.
fuck with him."
I just,
Oh,
I
and
just,
then-
I want to
and
just
then
poke
Wayne
the
will bring up a
forehead.
complete-
Like, I just want to
and
poke
then
the
what- and
forehead.
then
It's like
what-
it doesn't feel hollow,
Yeah,
but it just
and then what-
nothing
and then-
makes sense in there.
And then
Why
Wayne
do-
brings up
I mean, to be
another
fair-
TV show, and then there's another TV show. Oh, do you remember that other TV show where they
Since,
did that?
since I've been on, we've talked about the Wombles.
We
Danger
talked
Man,
about no
Bristol-
politics since you've been
Bristol
on.
Maze, Nightmare,
Literally
and
not
Adventure
talking about
Game.
politics.
Now, the number one rule is to talk about American procedure and get it wrong purposely to annoy Mikey. That's what we normally do.
Well, I would say it would just lower my opinion of you guys, but you know,
Oh,
I understand
Oh.
that I
Here's
should just
the
only talk
difference,
about
Mikey.
the surface level things because if I try to go a little too deep, then people say, you know, Alabama, Jeremy Clarkson once said. It's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, never mind.
But Mikey, here's the difference. We don't force you lot to watch everything we fucking make, whereas we have to watch everything you do. Not you
You're
personally.
forced,
I mean,
you're forced
America.
to watch TV.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The 80s
99% of the shit on
Right,
TV
right,
is America
right.
making films about itself.
Airwolf,
Right,
Green Thunder,
right,
the
I've
80s,
got to pull you up.
Airwolf,
all
holy
of that.
fuck.
You know, the 80s and 70s was all American.
Right, I've got to pull you up. You just said you lot.
Yeah, I know that sounded bad. I meant America.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get
If
my head
only-
down for the rest of the show. Is there anything anyone else wants to talk about?
Is
Just
there
one
a-
thing before I go, I wanted to just the good news thing was you saw that graph
Where?
on social media that was somebody sent it to me, which was the all the alternative media, not the, and it was all, you know, like Midas Touch is the number one podcast, Joe Rogan's fallen to number 3,
Yeah.
but all the podcasts and output, a lot of it, more of it's blue than red now, because everyone said there's no ecosystem on the left, but actually the ecosystem on the left is beginning to grow in America, and it's
That's-
beginning to equal, which I thought was slightly positive.
What do you? I think.
Yeah,
I think what they say is there's no money on the left. So
There's
there's
no money on the
There's no. I mean, yeah, these shows are getting popular, but they're at the
No.
behest of Patreon and Google AdSense. There's not
Yeah.
like Koch brothers putting like hundreds of millions of dollars, or you know, Tenet Media from Russia, you know, just dumping money into left wing politics to get out the word of let's get rid of billionaires. Like the billionaires aren't funding us to exterminate them.
But a good thing is, you know, you can set up a room, put a camera, put a light up, and go and start streaming, and it, you know, and it's not going to be any better than looking at Matt Walsh or looking at Ben Shapiro. You can have a really nice background and do it, and if you're saying the right stuff and you're trying to do it in the way that it pulls people in. I mean, you know, David Patman and Brian Tyler Cohen and all that lot all started with a handful of people that they're all beginning to, you know.
Well, I love the fallout between Francesca
TYT
and TYT, like that, and the fact that Jenk from TYT is just like showing his true colours now.
Yeah,
He's a proper knob.
TYT's gone.
You've got the Vanguard, who have been calling them out for ages. They are absolutely hilarious. They are so funny.
The Vanguard are good.
And David Pacman's taken a hit because David Pacman is a very boring but analytical commentator. Carl Kalinske has gone all in on Joe Rogan.
He's great,
Properly.
Carl.
He's just absolutely. So there's loads of stuff out there that's like on the left. That is.
You sure you didn't leave anybody out there, Wayne?
I think the Bin podcast is really good.
Yeah, there we go. God, fucking damn.
Yeah.
Stroke everybody else. What the
I've
fuck?
not been on. They don't have trans people on, but I mean,
We only have trans people on that know
Shots
something
fired.
about the American government. We have plenty of trans people on. How
I'm
dare you?
joking.
How dare you?
And it's cross Atlantic.
Mikey, the times have been all
Yeah,
over. The
we've
shop
had
recently.
we've had trans people on in your neck of the woods. So again,
Oh,
how
well,
dare
thanks
you?
very much. Well, I love Mikey.
so you're just excluding Rachel.
Jeez.
Well, Rachel
Well,
hasn't ever
there's an
expressed
open
any
invite
kind
to-
of
That is true, Rachel. You have kind of been off the grid. when
I
it
got
comes
I
to-
had such a big old last couple of months. I lost a parent. I had a big pile on gender critical attacks. I had to go off grid.
Yeah.
and that's
So
our
I'm
fault.
just saying, you've been yeah.
I've
Quiet.
been in my bunker with my tin hat on, hiding from
Yeah,
the world.
fair
But I'm
enough.
back
But
now.
no, I get it.
in your Anderson shelter.
Yeah, I mean, so don't knock the Anderson shelter. Roll out the barrel. We left the barrel. It's great. Yeah, but yeah, now I came back and I'm doing Down the Rabbit Hole with Graham every Wednesday night. We've started that
which is
show.
fun.
And
Oh,
I'm
so
back.
only white guys.
And
You only do
you-
shows
you've
with white
been-
guys. I get it.
That's not.
Oh my
Oh.
Right,
god!
welcome.
I get it.
This is something else.
Double-edged sword.
By the way, Mikey, you started doing shows at times when I'm not about as well.
That's
It's
deliberate.
the same fucking time for the last 5 years, Wayne. You shut your whore
No,
mouth.
it ain't, bruv.
Shut your whore mouth.
I've woken up at 3 in the morning and seen you.
There's
like,
more.
doing a show,
It's a
and I'm like,
network,
hang on a minute.
dude. There's more than one show on the network.
Yeah, the network's in the title.
There's more than one show. The Bin podcast has been at 2 p.m. Central on Thursdays for the last 6 years, whether or not you show up for it or not. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
How dare you?
Wow.
Let's have a look at yesterday's broadcast. It weren't there.
Wow.
Did
So we
you
just
look?
had some news. We just had some news come in. Thanks so much to Chris C for
What's
joining us
that?
to our attention. The US Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to freeze teacher training grants. Millions in grants that would promote diversity, equality, and inclusion initiatives may be frozen following the ruling.
Mikey,
Yep,
I've got a
anti-black.
spare room if you want to bring the family over.
Sounds
Why
about
the
right.
hell would I go there?
Don't want to educate the population, do
Go to
they?
Canada. It's only over the
Yeah,
road.
Canada's
I've never
right
wanted-
there, dude.
Yeah.
They've never wanted to educate the population. Like
There's a place 3 places down from me that's for sale right now, Mikey. Come on.
We're getting there. Like
Yeah.
we're actually getting there between like.
Can Americans just go to Canada?
Yeah, just
What?
get in a car and drive.
Yeah, can you just go and live in Canada, America? I mean,
No, but to
Britain,
live,
you
you
live in
need
Ireland.
something, right?
You need your visa and stuff
Yeah, I'd
like
have
that,
to
right?
if I
So-
want to move there. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
but I can
Yeah.
visit.
I've got friends who are trying to move to Canada full time. They're a couple from they live in Florida, and they're trying to get out of Florida.
Yeah.
And but apparently they're
I
too
wonder
old
why.
to settle down in Canada now.
What? Why are they too old?
I've never heard a rule like that, but
No,
maybe I
that's
don't
crazy.
know. Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
What? That makes no sense.
We only want sexy young Americans
Well,
The good luck.
with
No,
big butts.
syrup out of them.
We only want the
like
big
if
booty
they're-
bitches in here.
They all want old Baywatch fucking scenes.
Give me the Hoff.
I've got a question.
Let's check.
What's going to happen if these states enact these laws to ban gay marriage again? Does it mean that the people who have got married in those states over the last 10 years or so, does it annul their marriages?
Well, it depends how they
No.
pass it. I think it will. Yeah. You'd
No,
have to
I
go-
don't think it will.
Okay, Gwen, you know best.
No, I'll tell you for why. Because if it's federally recognised, then it doesn't matter.
It isn't. So that's your first wrong assumption. It's not. It's a state thing. I got my marriage license from the state of Illinois. Given the
So
powers
does that
vested
mean your
in the state
marriage
of
is annulled if you go to another state? If you're
I'm trying to tell
mixed-
you.
mixed
I'm
race
trying to
couple?
tell you. So what it means is that my union with my wife is sanctioned by the state of Illinois. It is not federally sanctioned.
So if that state decides to change the law to say that you can't get married, does that retrospectively annul your marriage?
I mean, they can try.
No, but that makes no sense.
I know it makes no sense, Wayne, but this is the reality that we're living in at the moment
You don't
because
get to change
lunatics
it.
are in charge.
You see, this is the problem with America generally at the moment is we are trying to apply old school logic to things that are not logical. This is why we have long discussions about it and go, I don't get it, because none of it is logical. None of it makes sense. And it's done deliberately. It's designed like that.
It's what's in Project 2025 though. Interracial marriage gone, same-sex marriage gone, being trans at all gone. That's all written down. That's the route. That's the route map.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to understand. Like, so Mikey and his wife are as a mixed race couple, got married where they got married, and they fly to another state to live somewhere. They've got their passports, which are federally.
There's no such thing as an
administered.
American federal passport where you can go from state to state. There's no such thing. You can just go to any state you want.
No, but what I'm saying is that the names are the same. Everything is like appreciated. But then if this particular state says we don't want a mixed race couple, we're not going to acknowledge a mixed race couple in our particular state.
Okay.
How can they do that?
What do you mean by recognize it? What would I need from the state? Like that's another. Like,
if you were going to adopt, if you go and also tax breaks and things like that, Mikey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the things that you have to that you are drawing into contention have to be things that are brought into contention. Because like, well, then the state can say that it doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't matter in what effect. You know what I mean? Because like talking about like, and that's the problem with Trump and Trumpism is it's a bunch of platitudes that don't really mean anything. So usually whenever something weird that they're up to fucking comes out, you have to like break down what the practical effects of what they're trying to implement will do to people. So hold on. So practically, there's nothing that they can do about my marriage. You know what I mean? They can insurance maybe or will payouts and stuff like that. If we're at a hospital or something like that and they don't want to let me see her, like that's pretty much, and I don't know if the state would even, you know what I mean, be concerned and stuff like that. The problem with America is it's huge. It's 300, damn near 50 million people. And it covers like a continent worth of size. So what they say versus what can actually physically be implemented is the dichotomy that we find ourselves in now. So they can say a bunch of shit and want to do a bunch of shit, but things got bad like when the firing started. You know what I mean? Like talking about I don't want there to be a Department of Education. Yeah, you can say that all you want, but when the people start not having a job anymore, and you know, like that's where the rubber meets the road. And I feel like those things are a lot that need a lot more sussing out than just being like, well, then this state will say that this doesn't mean this, and this state will say that well, in what respect? You know what I mean? The state's ability to do what? Like, I don't need the state for too much.
That's where the confusion lies, though, Mikey. Because like what you're saying, and to Rachel's point as well, like you could be recognised as a married couple in one state, and then you move to the neighbouring state that don't recognise your nuptials, and that could like sort of decimate certain rights that you have as a married couple.
Like what?
Oh, Fanny's got to get off. Bye, Fanny. Bye, Fanny.
Bye,
Fanny.
Fanny.
Cheers.
Ta-ra, mate. Take care, mate.
Lovely
Have a
to see
good
you,
night.
mate.
Have a good weekend. Sorry, I also need to interrupt for a moment because malfunctioning fembots put $5 of all things into the super chat fund. Thank you. You're the one who's malfunctioning, you old coot. We're still married, but you ain't seen hard since the Carter administration. Bah. Okay, that was from malfunctioning fembot. I don't know what that meant, but thanks.
I think I know.
I looked into this. Who was saying that there were some people that couldn't move to Canada because of their age?
Grant.
That was me.
You said,
yeah. No, they can't. They weren't allowed. Yeah, they weren't allowed to get permanent residency.
I'm looking into it. So because that didn't seem right to me, and there is no age restriction on moving to Canada. There is a point system on moving to Canada, depending on a lot of various things,
Well, that'll be it
including
then.
education level, income, different things like that.
How big your butt
experience, right? It's on a score of 1,200 points.
Jesus.
Age is one of the things in it, and the best age category gets you 110 points out of that 1,200 points.
Okay.
So it is a factor, but it's not that big of a factor. There's a whole raft of other factors too, and whoever's got the most points, those are the people getting into the country.
So if you're super old, then you get like negative points.
Yeah. Anybody over the age of 45 gets 0 points.
There you go.
Hey, I'm
That's
Christian.
a bit
I think they'd worked
I'm
out
going
that
to
if they
Canada.
were under 45, they would have had enough points, but they didn't.
Well, I'm just gonna have to regenerate again, aren't I?
I just turned 46.
Well, like I said, that's only, like I said, a possible 110 points that they could have scored there out of the 1,200.
Yeah.
With most of the rest of it being based on work experience and education.
Sheldon, I just heard that on the Vanguard that we need a caveman left. I'm with it.
Fair enough. Mikey, you're on mute.
I'm talking to my chat.
Okay.
Sheldon says, I just heard on the Vanguard that we need a caveman left. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Ooga booga, smash some things. Smash some things for good people.
Yeah, I think that the way things are going in America is absolutely terrifying at the moment. Terrifying for the world. There was supposed to be protests tomorrow. It's April the 5th.
I'm not going.
Big 50-51 protests.
That's a setup.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. Many people are going to turn up, but there are more protests against Tesla tomorrow. So if you want to protest against Tesla in this country, there is a pop-up Tesla shop on Oxford Road.
We're keeping our elbows up, bud.
In London. So get along to Oxford Street tomorrow and protest against Tesla because that sounds like fun. But yeah, it's all looking a bit grim. Sorry to say. I mean, it's looked a bit grim since Trump got elected, isn't it?
I think his latest batch of stupid shit will like he can't sell this. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what kind of like used car salesman vibes he's got, but trying to convince people that throwing away 15% of your 401k in a weekend is a good idea. I don't know if he's going to be able to swing that one, you know? So and once the money has fallen out of his side, I think he's banging the drum for his own revolution. So keep it up, stupid. You're doing great.
Mikey, can I ask a question about the 401ks? So this is your retirement fund that's based on shares, right?
Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that there's going to be loads of Americans now with a 401k and it's based on what the share values are when you claim it, is it? So no one's going to claim it now. So people are going to continue working for an extra year or
Couple
2 years or 3 years until the stock market gets back to where it was a couple of days ago.
Because the thing is, like, it's only
is that right?
Yeah, I'm answering you. That's it's only a portion of their check, their paycheck that they're putting into that. So even if they make, $60,000-$70,000 a year, they're only putting in $5-10 grand a year, because the rest of that they need assumingly for bills and normal people stuff. So to wipe out $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 of somebody's 401k, that is years of work that they have to, go back to replace that, because they don't just have all that cash sitting on hand to just replace what this asshole just lost. Like a lot of people they're going to be working longer. And no offense to any of the geriatric people out there, but to be quite honest, the millennials have been needing you guys to retire fucking 15 years ago. You were supposed to be out of the job force forever ago, and we can't have those middle high management jobs because we're fighting with 65-year-olds to get the positions. Why are we having to compete with these people? Because they can't retire, because they have to keep working. And if you trap them in the workforce even longer than so when he wants to move everything back to manufacturing and we got nothing but a bunch of 60-year-olds who couldn't retire, so they had to get back into the pond. Well, now what? Now what's your plan?
They're going to move the widgets down the road, which a robot could do for no money at all.
And I mean, like, has Tesla said that they're opening up a new plant in America? And they guarantee not to have any robots, and there's going to be unionized labor? Absolutely
Not
not.
unionized, no.
Absolutely not.
JCB guy's moving his operation to America, isn't he, Mr. Brexiteer?
Is he? Bamford?
That's
What a
absolute
twat.
weapon. He's a weapon.
Chris C's brought up a story that I heard about. I think this was actually the week before last, but it was about an American woman who was arrested after she had a miscarriage. She passed out and she woke up. She'd been arrested by the police for improper disposal of human remains.
Oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh.
And it's so beyond wrong that after someone's suffered the trauma of a miscarriage, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, it's fucking horrific. And then she's done what they actually tell you to do when you go to hospital in America. If you have a miscarriage in the hospital, they're just going to get rid of whatever comes out. They're going to get rid of it into a bag to go to the incinerator. You don't give a fucking burial service to a miscarriage. And these stories coming out together with people being arrested for having social media stuff on their phone. I had to tell my auntie, she's going to America. She went to America this week, and I had to say to her before she left, "Will you please block me on Facebook? Because if they look on your Facebook and one of my things pops up calling Trump a see you next Tuesday, she could be detained."
Yes.
Yeah.
You're for sure correct about that.
Yeah.
I think the American judiciary need to get some of these down them.
No idea what that is.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's putting up a rude word on the screen. Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Not again.
But it's backwards.
If we weren't demonetized before, we are now.
Yeah, just as an aside, if anybody's interested, the Good Law Project are doing another one of their, they did the thing with Ofcom about the LGBT stuff on GB News and got 70,000 complaints. They're doing a new one for Meta. So Meta store a lot of data about us on Instagram and Threads, and you can go and sign it, put your name in, email, and it emails their copyright officer, and not copyright, their data protection officer, and says, remove my shit or else. So you can go and do that. The Good Law Project's on their website. It takes 10 seconds to put your name and your telephone number in and your email and which site you're on. Just put your handles, and it will clear all the Meta have got to take all the...
Or now they have all my stuff.
Yeah, they might do.
Wait a minute.
You can't get rid of the AI thing that's just popped up on fucking...
I told you.
On
WhatsApp.
Zoom.
You can't. It's stuck.
WhatsApp's got this little AI piece of shit on it. You know when you press the button to go to send your message?
Yeah.
There's another button now, and it's to open an AI assistant.
I told you.
Help you send knob jokes to your mates. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Help me compose this knob joke.
There's one on our group chat, and I'm like, why is that there? Why is it still there?
Maybe you should add. Yeah.
Well, I opened the as soon as it appeared, I went, I don't want that, and I opened to Google to see how to remove it. And I only put in the first two letters, and it went, how do I remove the AI from WhatsApp? Came straight up, number one post.
You can't.
You can't. No.
It's like removing WhatsApp. Facebook from your Samsung phone. You can't remove it. You can't delete it off the phone.
Yeah.
It comes pre-installed, and
you could always break.
Get rid of the icon, but it's still on your phone.
You can
buy a real phone.
You can root it.
Shut up, Mikey.
You can root your phone, then you can get rid of all the blue. Get rid of all the blue.
I want to get a Google Pixel.
I've got a Google Pixel.
The pictures are really fucking good.
Yeah, Google Pixel.
I've got a Samsung, and the pictures aren't that good. I've got a bit of brand loyalty to Samsung because they did give me an island, which is more than any other fucking company's ever given me.
All I've ever had is a Pixel. The reason a good reason to get in a Pixel is you get all the updates quicker of Google.
Well, the pictures are amazing. I see people go out and take pictures of Borealis, and I'm like, fucking hell, that looks amazing.
Yeah,
it's always a Pixel.
Pixel 9 is really good.
Guys, I'm gonna chip off, yeah.
Oh well, I'm getting it going as well because it's past my bedtime, and we've all got busy lives.
Yeah, you've got all your mentions in as well, haven't you, Graham? You've mentioned that you've travelled around the world. You mentioned that you've got a book. You mentioned that you got an island.
You know what,
You got
Wayne?
the C word in, Wayne.
And Wayne, I've heard you mention nothing because you haven't achieved anything.
Ooh.
Kitty got,
Apart-
kitty got
what,
claws.
what you mean apart from my two beautiful daughters?
Well,
I just want to say as well, can you not
yeah.
describe my Guinness World Record breaking journey to
Oh,
every
here we
country in the
go.
world without flying as going round the world? Like
80
every rich kid who takes a fucking gap year goes round the world. Going round the world is a piece of piss. Everyone's done it. Like that's nothing. That is
Do it
nothing.
without flying or driving.
Yeah, but I went to every country. I went to these countries that Trump says no one's heard of. I'm sitting there going, I fucking have.
Graham, put it in a book and stick it on the Waterstone shelves.
They won't let me put it on Waterstones because
There was some sort of certificate from the Guinness Book of Records that you could prove it with, you know.
Not quite in shot, mate.
Doesn't need to be.
can see
Anyway,
it.
right. So, Rachel, Mikey,
Do you put that
Scott.
there every night before you start up the?
Yes, he does.
No, he just lives there. He just lives there.
On the couch.
No one can
Watch
sit there when people
the
come
morning
over.
brew tomorrow at 9, and it will be there.
Yeah, it'll be there. Yeah.
Someone
But
was-
otherwise, it's just like an
Fuck
empty
your
bit of
chunk.
couch there, and I didn't like how it looked. But I'm thinking of moving the certificate and putting it on the wall here, right here, so you
In
can
the
see
frame.
it.
It would look all right
And then
over there.
and it'll just be Brock the Badger who's sort of holding up.
You know what you could do? You could get this
It's
like white pedestal and put it right there in frame right behind you, and have it sitting on the white pedestal and get a big beam of light coming down on it. Right?
It's so weird when Graham has people over, he makes them not like they tried to like move it off and like put it on the no.
That's
That's where it sits. You sit on the floor if there's nowhere else to sit.
Yeah.
I've got another one.
That's right.
I've got 2 Guinness World Records, so I'll get the other one framed at some point.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's all right. It's all right, Wayne. Call me Graham. Right, moving on. Okay, Rachel, Mikey, Scott, Ollie, and Wayne, thank you so much for co-hosting tonight on the Friday Night Social. Thank you to everyone who watched. Give us a
Been podcast.
like. One thing that you could do before you go, please give us a like. It really does help the algorithm. Help Al Gore get his rhythm. And a big shout out to everyone who has opined in the chat. Awesome and wonderful. Thank you. And everyone who's given a super chat, especially. Thank you so much.
No, you guys over
I'll
here.
be back on Sunday with the Sunday service, which is probably late and 3 will come at once. But until that happens, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Woo! Hey, Wayne, you can swear now.